Yo, what is the deal? What is the deal? Welcome to the No Pick Show. There's no hand holding. We do it fast on emotion. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification if you haven't already, man. I appreciate everybody. Look, y'all in here early with the super chats. I see y'all got the Ja Morant questions. We just gonna go ahead and get it out the way. We're gonna talk about it, get it out the way. I've been told that it's cap. I've been told that it's not true. You know, I'm a Ja Morant fan. I would love to have him on the Pelicans. But I don't think it's true. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think Ja would like to play with the Pelicans. I think Ja would like, to play with Zion on the team. I think Zion would enjoy playing with Ja Morant. But, I just don't think it's true. There's a lot of issues there. And unfortunately, I don't think it happens. Ja Morant right now, I'm sure he's trying to find a place where he could really get some serious run and try to shift the narrative with his career right now. Things not looking too hot. You know what I'm saying? Coming off a bad year production wise, even though the talent is still there, the deliverables aren't there. So just to, kind of address it head on. Shout out to Sam Amick. I saw what Sam Amick said earlier. I don't think that's real, yo. I don't think that's real. Well, shout out to my dog Michael Morgan with the 5-piece, man. We appreciate you. Appreciate your support, big dog. Yes, indeed. Nando, what's happening with your fam? Look, Ja, Ja like the problem child of the league right now. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. A lot of teams not really willing to take the risk right now. You see, Phoenix came out and Paul's, pardon the expression, full-throatedly denied that they had any interest, or at least one of their reporters did. And maybe that's an avenue to drive the price down. I'm not sure what the asking price is right now, but it can't be nothing crazy. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. It gotta be dirt cheap. Shout out to the homie Joe. Saw one of your videos like a month ago. Been watching your videos ever since. You make great content, bro. Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that, fam. I appreciate your support. Josh Murdoch in the building. What's the deal, homie? 2X Key. What's the deal? Fist of the Black Star. Whoa, what's happening? My dog Joe, aka Black is Nerd. What's the deal? Clarence, what's popping, fam? Yeah, L, he gonna be joining the show soon. And the homie Chris Lambert, he gonna be joining the show soon as well. We're gonna be discussing some of the things surrounding the latest rumors with Trey Murphy, Ament, things of that nature. Nola, what's happening, homie? 504 boy, what's the deal? Big round. J Dog, what is happening? Say checking in from the start of my grade. Oh yeah, it's 8 o'clock. I'm tripping because I'm looking around and the sun's still out. It's 8 o'clock. Like, you know what I'm saying? He say checking in from shout out to Chaz and Al for all the content. We get the breaking news here first. Louisiana girl dropped that Ament news nugget back in March. Facts. Thank you, J Dog. She dropped that shit back in March, fam. Doing the live stream. Tell my boy Fisher, keep it up. Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed. My dog Black and Nerd back in the building. The car, what's happening, fam? Hit that like button while y'all in here. Appreciate everybody, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. He said killing the vibe so early. Look, I ain't trying to kill the vibe. I wish that there was some legs to it, but nah, man. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen, Kevin. Whoa, what's happening with you, Brandon? What's the deal? Blackest Nerd, what's happening? He said NBA young boy, of course. You know what? I hope he goes to all the games. I hope he go to all the motherfucking games. Shout out to NBA young boy. Then some of the charitable things that he's doing off the court as well. If you know, you know. So I want to get straight into it, right? While we wait for people to join my two guests. So everybody saw the report about Ament, but I think since it's behind a paywall, the subtext behind the paywall, shout out to Mark Stein and Jake Fisher, people didn't really do the due diligence and read it in its proper context. So that's not what we do here. Here we read shit in its proper context, and we're going to give you the scoop. You understand me? So let's look at it right here. This is from Hoops Hype via, this is from Mark Stein via Hoops Hype. Say the Pelicans are known to want a lot for Trey Murphy, as one interested team told the Stein line last week, but they will at least listen. The Pelicans, furthermore, are also known to be very interested in acquiring a lottery pick for next week's festivities. Right now, we go to the next thing that's from the same Substack. Say Ament is indeed very much one of the top prospects that would interest New Orleans if it could get high enough to draft him. Now, Ament has been all over the board. Like, I've seen Ament going as high as 6 to the Nets. Seen him go low, like late in the lottery, like 15, damn near. It's kind of all over the board. In Brooklyn right now, according to Jake Fisher, there's like not billboards, but there's posters of Ament, and I think he's with Reebok. His Reebok marketing campaign on the walls. Like I think they'd have some interest in Ament. Now, again, I'm gonna look at this again, y'all. It says the Pelicans want a lot for Trey, but they'll at least listen. That's always been the case. I'm sure they've never probably told anyone, yo, don't even call me. No, like we want a lot. And look, if you want a lot in the season, you want even more during the offseason. Like that's kind of how that typically goes. The cheapest deal you're gonna get is during the regular season, especially close to the deadline. Now, again, with the Ament comment, they say he's one of the top prospects that they would be interested in, right? One of, meaning there's other motherfuckers. For example, Trevon Brazil, for example, Ademara, for example, like a couple guys that the Pelicans would have some interest in. 504 boys say, are we going to move Trey? I don't think no one even meets the asking price for Trey. And I think they've said a couple times, and I see you in there, Chris. I'm about to drop the link for you, bro. I think they said a couple times, like, look, we ain't tripping if we could get better. Right now, better is a tangible thing once you enter the season. But in the off season, like better is objective, like is relative, rather. Better is relative. Like, so if you could get hypothetically, like let's say if what's the team? If Detroit called you, say we'll give you a SAR, beef stew, and 4 firsts. I think you would move Trey in that scenario. Me personally, I don't want to trade Trey. I think Trey still got upside, hell of a player. I think Trey could average 23 points in this league. I just think that, he needs to be maximized with the coaching. Got to get his motor together as far as attacking rebounds. I think offensively he can make some strides as well. Got to continue to put on weight because he's another guy, along with Herb Jones, that had a shoulder injury this past offseason and wasn't able to lift. But if you see Trey now and you see Jeremiah Fizz now, they've been hitting the weights. Like they've been pumping that iron. Pause. Like it's a photo of Trey right here. And to me, he's noticeably larger and stronger. And here's another thing. The Pelicans don't have to trade Trey. Like there's other avenues for them to get back into the late lottery. It's all about where your guy is. And that's really what it boils down to. Like, where is your guy available? Michael Morgan say, what do you think the direction of the team is right now, bro? I think they want to compete. I think they want to win games. Everything I've been told, saying they're looking for dogs and they're looking for people that, could, I would say, probably mimic Detroit as far as their intensity, mimic the Spurs as far as their defensive intensity, playing with aggression, rebounding, defending along the perimeter, scoring big buckets. Right now, I think they're really trying to neutralize all the soft shit that was happening within this organization over the years. Chris in the building, man. Chris, what's the deal, bro? How you doing, man?
Good, man. I'm glad I got the link to work. It was sending me to our last stream when I was trying to click on the link for some reason.
I think I know why. My bad about that,
bro. No, don't worry, bro. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to get into it. A lot going on, man. I mean, the Ja stuff just dropped. Perfect timing. So
yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't think it's anything there. Just based on things I've heard, I don't think there's anything there. I like Ja, so I kind of wish that it was. We take a chance on him, but I don't think there's anything there, and I wouldn't be shocked if they were practically giving Ja away at this point. Honestly,
yeah. No, that's kind of where I'm at with it too.
Excuse me.
I think Sham God too the other day talking about Dejounte as like a foundational piece that, they're excited to get to work with. Like, I think Dejounte is kind of here to stay. I think that's kind of the message I'm seeing and I'm hearing from around like the Pelicans community right now.
I think, admittedly, I would take coach talk with a grain of salt.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I do think, and this is the cold reality of these situations. It's like, I don't think he has any value right now. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate because, if you're Joe Dumars and you inherited that situation, because nobody anticipated he would have 2 major injuries when he became the Pelicans. And when he was playing, the numbers wasn't great. I think the most likely scenario is that he starts the year on the Pelicans, and maybe they look to pivot during the deadline potentially when that contract becomes more attractive. It's tough, man. Like, they have avenues to do things, but to kind of rain on the parade a little bit, it's like you got a couple guys coming off like the worst years of their career, be it Dejounte, Herb Jones, and Jordan Poole. So it's kind of like, damn, what? And it's just tough. It's going to be tough to make some of these things happen. But I think they're solid enough the way they can tread water until they can land a big fish.
Yeah. I think I think if they're gonna make that like big splash trade, other than potentially what's looking like they're gonna trade Trey Murphy for some nonsense.
Well, I'm curious as to why people think that, because that's not how I read and interpreted that at all.
Yeah, really? What did you see it as?
Like for example, right? Just looking at the Stein clips, right? Oh, I'm sorry, not clips, but posts from the Substack.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Stein as well.
Yep.
Say the Pelicans are known to want a lot for Trey Murphy, as one interested team told the Stein line last week, but they will at least listen. The Pelicans, furthermore, are also known to be very interested in acquiring a lottery pick for next week's festivities. Then you go to the next part, say Ament is indeed very much one of the top prospects that would draw interest, that would interest New Orleans if they could get high enough to draft them. Now, to me, I think those are two statements that one could put in correlation. Like, for example, like if the Nets say we'll give you 4 picks for Trey Murphy, and one of those picks happened to be number 6. That's a lot. that's a lot to get. Maybe you get Nick Claxton or whatever player salary you take it back. But to me, it still doesn't say like they're dangling Trey Murphy for a draft pick in this year's draft. Like, to me, I just don't.
Yeah, I just the thing that wasn't in the post you were looking at, because I have the Substack.
Oh, cool.
And Jake, like, we get it through work, and Jake Fisher said that I'm trying to remember the exact quote. It was something along the lines of like the Warriors are actively trying to trade the 11th overall pick, or or open to trading the 11th overall pick for a win now player with Trey Murphy in mind. And then the next line was the Pelicans are heavily interested in Ament, or whatever that line you just read is. And with those things back to back, the way I've viewed a lot of Jake Fisher stuff and Mark Stein stuff over the time, like I've been reading both of them, is they will say things like that back to back in correlation, but they don't have a confirmed report that that's what the Pelicans are trying to do, but that's what they suspect. And then a lot of the time it ends up becoming a confirmed thing, and they confirm it in like a later post. So I don't know. I'm just a little, and again, there's a bit of a DMV connection with Ament too.
Definitely
from Virginia, which just like I am like the biggest Ament hater in the world. Like I hate this guy the way Mel Gibson hates Robert De Niro. Okay, like I just can't stand Ament as a prospect. Seems like a cool dude, but there's so many red flags.
Shout to Nando and say you find it funny Sham God didn't mention Trey Murphy at all. Nah, because I felt like Jadakiss was really the guy naming everybody. I think the only person that Sham God really named was like like Fizz, and because you don't really know these guys.
He named Fears and Zion, and Jadakiss was just naming the entire roster. I didn't know Jadakiss knew the roster.
Me neither.
Being honest,
Jadakiss checks his notes before the game.
Yeah, he did his research.
It seemed like almost everybody else after like Fears, and it was kind of like a bit of an afterthought. Like shout out to Jamal Mosley, but he called Trey Murphy a sneaky athlete. And I was like, all right.
Sneaky.
You call Trey Murphy a sneaky athlete, call Queen a great defender. I'm like, all right. So, look, you're talking about a team you play twice a year. So, you don't really, you got to get into the building.
I got to go watch the film. Maybe DQ had his best defensive game against Wendell.
Yeah, probably got to look at that one, right? Maybe he was shutting shit down. Now, I remember that game, and I can say matter of factly that didn't happen.
Yeah, I was just about to say. That was the one where they blew the lead because they weren't hitting threes. What up?
Oh, what it do? What's good, Chris? What's good, Chad?
What's going on?
What's good, Chad? How everybody doing, man?
Yo, man, y'all in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. So we talking about I know you did a show earlier. Make sure y'all check out Pels in the Blender. Did a show about the prospect potentially trading Trey Murphy and what that could or could not signal. You want to get into that a little bit as we talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely. My I don't know if we discussed this, and also with that being said, the news just dropped? The Pistons just said they are not close to deals with Asar and Jalen Duren. So that's a little interesting note as we go to talk about the the trade. But essentially, my whole position is one, I don't think they'll be moving Trey, to be honest. Again, to Chaz's points in previous shows that we've kind of reiterated it, is that if they did move Trey, one, it'll cost a shit ton if you're not talking about a star level player or something like that, but they probably view Trey as a piece to go buy. Jaylen Brown, maybe another star level player that's not available. But what a lot of the talking points were that, like, okay, Trey will probably be used in a deal to get a player like Ament. I don't believe that to be the case at all. I don't think they're considering moving Trey for anybody in this draft, to be honest, unless it's like 1, 2, like obviously you're not getting any of that, but I think they would be willing to move Trey for something like that. I don't think they're looking at moving Trey Murphy for any, lottery type player that's not one of those players.
Like a project type later lottery
somebody
guy.
That's not, you can't in one sentence say, hey, I want this to be a win now. We're trying to compete. And win now don't mean championship win now, but I'm trying to put myself in position to compete. Move Trey Murphy and then bring in a Ament, which again, you can have whatever review you feel about Ament, but any player outside, and even some of the top 4 players, even if you drafted AJ today, that's not a guarantee that player is going to be better than Trey Murphy today to be able to, help you compete. So I just think, when people are talking about the Trey Murphy deal, one, I don't think is moving Trey for any of these particular picks unless it's something out the box. 2, I think Trey is a buy now kind of piece. And then 3, if they did move Trey, I don't think that ties to moving Zion at all. I think those are 2 completely separate entities, to be honest. I don't think if you move Trey, you have to move Z. So I just think they view all of it as, shout out Louisiana, y'all, they view all of it as like core pieces to build. And I'll say this last piece and then I'll let y'all respond. But my thought is kind of like, look at the Knicks and how the Knicks built it. And I hate to use the Knicks because they just won the championship, right? But if you go back to when before Tibbs got there, before Jalen Brunson got there, the Knicks was fucking awful. The Knicks were awful. You know what I mean? Had a history of being terrible. But what they do? They get Jalen Brunson first, right? They had landed RJ Barrett, Emmanuel quickly with that, and then they started Julius Randle, and then they just started building it up. Player by player.
They had a lot of talent in that building. Dante,
They had a lot of players kind of cycle through, but one thing they did is they didn't like trade down or anything like that. Every player that they used, they used to turn into a better player, find better pieces that fit. And similarly with the coaching, like Tibbs, when Tibbs got there, they went from not making the playoffs to a first round team, then a second round team, then a conference final. You know what I mean? Just slowly progressing. And I think Joe Dumars is kind of trying to track it that way.
That's why I'm sorry, Chris. I just wanted to play this one video from Fisher as well. This is probably from last week. To me, I feel like we've been shout out to Louisiana Gal, like we've been talking about Ament since March. Like I'll tell you, we got some of the best people in this chat, man. We were talking about Ament since March. I know Chris, you're not a fan of him. Me, I'm
I was a massive fan. I was a huge fan.
I know you probably let you down. Me, I'm a little bit indifferent. I'm kind of like, I don't really see it. Like, I'm a little indifferent. I would be lying if I say I checked in on him thoroughly. But I wanted to play this clip. Jake Fisher speaking about Trey Murphy recently.
Although teams have been calling New Orleans about Trey Murphy for a long, long time now. One of the teams that's been the most interested in Trey Murphy over the last couple of years, according to my sources with knowledge of the situation, has been the San Antonio Spurs. So right now we can kind of check them off, being that clearly San Antonio has a build that has been humming in the right direction all the way to this NBA Finals that tips off tomorrow night in San Antonio. Matthew365 is asking, or he's saying, I hear the comments about the Rockets, but they need to be in on Jaylen.
He kind of led into more the Jaylen Brown thing, but I think even with like the Warriors, for example, I think their hesitancy to move like the post Steph picks kind of makes it difficult. And with Moses Moody tearing I think he tore his ACL, right? And he won't be available probably till I don't know when this year. Hopefully, he bounces back. And of course, Jimmy, he's going to be out for the whole season probably. It's just, it gets to a point where it's like,
yeah,
I could trade him anywhere, honestly. Like versus, like, can you even put forth a competitive offer? I think.
Yeah. My rebuttal to the whole the like Joe Dumars saying what he says, I think he might just straight up be lying. I think he's in over his head. I think he's realizing that this team is so far. And Chaz, we were talking about this earlier. Like, there's multiple guys in this roster. It's 3 guys on big time deals that have had the worst seasons of their careers, arguably. I mean, Dejounte, it's more of an injury thing, but the numbers wise, arguably one of his worst seasons of his career since he's been the player he is now. And like, I'm starting to think maybe he just realized he's in over his head and he's going to continue to like, push this idea that this team's going to be competitive because that's what Gail Benson wants. And that's what's going to put butts in seats next year. But I'm starting to feel like maybe he's realized this team is so far away from being a contender in the Western Conference, or at least a competitive team. And that's why we're getting these reports now that they're interested in Ament, and Trey Murphy could be shopped or is being shopped potentially. Like, I'm starting to just lose faith in Joe Dumars. And it's tough too, because I was someone who like really hated the Derek Queen trade up when it happened, like most people did. And I over time, I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to trust what he's doing. I don't know what the process is. And I also just, with Troy Weaver, I don't know if Troy Weaver is the guy I'm trusting to continue to put together who we're going to be drafting year in and year out. Because, hey, he hit on Micah Peavy, he hit on Fears. You can say however you feel about Derek Queen, but what about the DMV thing? Like, this is something that has not left this guy since. Is he actually scouting these players, or is he getting intel from people that have been around them forever? That's my question.
Well, I think that's a very good question. I'll say he, if you look historically, like the DMV connection, it's really, I think it's a little overstated. It's fun to talk about.
Slightly, yeah.
Because, Russell Westbrook, California guy, James Harden, California guy, Fear, Chicago guy. I don't know exactly where Michael Peavy's from, but I don't recall. No disrespect, Michael Peavy. Now, I think the DMV connection might stand out a bit when you talk about risk assessment. Like, if you're willing to risk more, and of course, Sadiq Bey is a DMV guy. Like, if you're willing to risk more to go get said guy because he's from the DMV. But there's also been some Michigan connections with Jordan Poole, the rumored interest in the Demara. I think, pardon me, I don't think Trey Murphy's being shopped. Like, to my understanding, like shopped and listening and accepting calls, this is something I've heard like before the offseason officially began.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have said shopped. I mean what you're saying, where it's
of course.
Making calls fully.
Well, I'll say this. I'll even go a step further. I don't think the offers were there for guys last year, and I think people just weren't really willing to cross that threshold, because I'll play a Mark Stein clip as well. I think we're in a buyer's market, and I think I don't think guys really are. I don't think teams are going to be as eager to pay that Desmond Bane type deal, Mikal Bridges type deal. And just full transparency, I don't want to trade Trey Murphy, but also I would trade anybody for the right deal. I'm trading anybody. Like, just being honest. But I also think like Desmond Bane was a better player at that point. Mikal Bridges had already gone to an NBA Finals. He was really playing very well in New York at the time, and him and Cam Johnson was putting up numbers. But here's Mark Stein's clip, and I'm gonna go. And when we come back, we'll go to Chris, and then we'll go to Alvin, and we'll continue to talk on this topic. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Y'all sending in some great chats. You got two great Pelicans minds here, and I happen to be here too. You know, I'm just joining in. But you got two great Pelicans minds here. I'm happy these gentlemen are joining me, man.
Interesting team to keep an eye on. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot.
What about Trey Murphy and by extension the New Orleans Pelicans? I think Trey Murphy is one of the more like every team wants him, but
for sure every team, a lot of teams want him, no doubt. But the Pelicans, based on everything I've been told, the threshold for a Trey Murphy trade is very, very high, and I don't know who is going to meet that price. I mean, I don't know who's going to meet that price because again, to give up like a year ago, we saw Desmond Bane go for 4 first-rounders. Would we see that same trade now? With the flattened lottery odds, would teams be willing to give up 4 firsts when they say, well, couldn't 1 or 2 of those like maybe win the lottery in this new system?
Right.
So,
let me ask you this, Mark, could there be a market correction on that, you know, teams that are hoping to trade a player like Trey Murphy, they're going in with the expectation of a previous market, and maybe that extends this window. Usually things happen so fast, but I'm wondering if maybe things go slow this year because the sellers are not getting the price they want because the market has changed.
Well, if things go slow on the trade market, it's going to be real interesting to see how change comes about because there's very little cap space out there.
The Mark Stein. Mark Stein looked like Joe Pesci a little bit. I never know.
A little bit.
Just a little bit, right? You saw it too? Like his profile is kind of Joe Pesci. Shout out to Joe Pesci, man. But Chris, what are your thoughts on just this offseason generally? Like I saw this comment and I shout out the low budget gamer, and I want to get your thoughts on this because Jordan Poole is expiring. Like Jordan Poole's contract is more valuable today than the day he signed it. This is the most valuable his contract is ever going to be, which is crazy. But so what do you think about things along those lines?
I mean, going back to Trey, like just thinking, even though the market, it's a great point that the market is definitely shifting now with these changed lottery odds. So Adam Silver, I mean, like I hate you for that, but
you don't like it. Okay.
I don't. I get the whole idea. It's going to make basketball more competitive and more teams are going to be striving to, you know, be at the top or at least be competitive. But I also think it's just so unrealistic. And I like the idea that the NBA is a league where if you're not on shit, you can go to the bottom and you could potentially get a guy. I've always been a fan of the top 25%, where the worst team in the league gets a 25% chance. I think that kind of limits a bit of tanking because you really either have to commit to it or you don't. Even these last past lottery odds, the ones we've been having these last couple of years, not a big fan of those. But besides the point, I would seriously entertain the Indiana Pacers' potential offer of Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith and whatever draft capital you could get for Trey. I just think, you know, it's similar production when you add those two together. I think it rounds out your starting 5 more. And with the potential future assets like draft capital you could be getting in, you could go back out on the market with those and look to kind of fill out that center position. I think my biggest thing about this offseason is if we enter next season and they're going to tell me this is a competitive basketball team and my depth chart at center is Yves Missy and Karlo Matkovic, I'm done. Like I can't buy into it. Like this team needs a center. Like I need a raise. Okay. Like I can't with the no center play. I played the power forward position. I couldn't play center when I played high school ball in elementary school ball. I almost said college. I damn well didn't play college. But you need a center. Like this team needs a center so bad. It's ridiculous.
Alvin, what are your thoughts on that, brother?
So I find the conversation in general interesting. Like there's so many different perspectives, and I understand everybody's point of view. I think Joe Dumars is fighting a couple battles first, right? Like you're establishing first the organizational idea, right? The main thing that they're fighting is we're not going to let people beat us on the deals. Mm-hmm. They chose to give away the deal as far as the Derek Queen trade, even though a lot of people didn't love it. They offered it because they believed in Derek Queen that much that they were like, you know what, we're being aggressive and going get our guy.
I love that. I love that approach, by the way.
So regardless of how we feel about Derek Queen, I think they were willing to give a lot because they were going get their guy. As far as like giving away a player, I think they're fighting no, we're not, just because the league says everybody wants the player, because the thing that the Pelicans fight a lot is, man, we just develop players, we give them away, and then they go somewhere else and they go on to be great. Because realistically, no matter how you feel about Trey Murphy to a degree, he has been getting better every year. He is an ascending player. If this was the case, a lot of people wouldn't be willing to offer as much as they would be willing to offer for him. If Trey Murphy,
something there too.
Yeah, of course.
Even though he didn't necessarily take a step this year, he had no supporting cast around him to elevate spacing, so he was playing at a disadvantage all season. That's all I want to say. So
I what I mentioned on the show earlier is one, the coaching was terrible. That's first.
Yep.
Secondly, the roster, even if the roster, right, even if the roster has holes in it, even what they had wasn't being maximized. So you already have the mismanagement of the already said assets. And also I give Trey a little bit of a mulligan for last year. Not a mulligan, but this year was really his first year going into the season as the true number 2 option and being able to like be approached from opposing defenses as, all right, like it's Zion and then Trey. And this was the first time that he experienced that. So if we're going to give players the benefit of the doubt with like development and all of that, then I think you kind of got to give Trey a little bit of the pass on that. Yeah. As far as my bad.
No, go.
You sure? As far as like the trade aspect of it, right? Like when people mention Nembhard and Neesmith and what other deals did they mention? Like Moody and 11 and all of that. None of those players, respectfully, in my opinion, move you any further than where Trey moved you. Right? Like, I don't think they bring you further along in the grand scheme of things than Trey moves you. And I don't think any of them have a higher ceiling potentially than Trey. Now, some people may disagree. Like, again, it's however you feel about players. That's one thing, right? But if you look at Trey Murphy from an asset standpoint going into the season, you don't have to do anything right now. Also, like, and as the season goes along, as far as like the other players, like Dejounte had a down year, Poole had a down year. If you don't like anything now, when the season rolls around, if it's still terrible, you could just blow it all up and give it away for nothing. Players like Trey Murphy won't lose their value, especially when you got him on the kind of contracts that he's on. Like you got Trey for the next 3 seasons or whatever. So like, Trey's value will never move. Players like Poole's value is going to continue to go up with he's an expiring deal. And if you can't move him, it just helps you in the long run anyway. So that's just kind of my opinion. I don't know if I technically answered the question or not, but it's just more so I think Trey's like the whole Joe Dumars plan is more, we're going to establish like the culture. We won't be bullied. We'll be aggressive when we want to be aggressive, and we're not going to allow the league to a degree to dictate what's fair value for a player. Because imagine this, and I'll pass it to you, Chad. I'm sorry. If Trey Murphy was on, I don't know, pick a team, right? If he was a Laker, do you know it would be impossible to trade for Trey Murphy if he was a Laker? Yeah. If he was, you know what I mean? Like, think about some of the other teams that he was on. It'll be like, there's no way in hell you could get
the
Trey Murphy. Bro, if he was a Celtic, like
17 first round picks.
Man, you already know. And people would be like, it's unfair. It wouldn't be unfair for Boston to ask for that for Trey Murphy. So I think Joe's trying to establish that.
I think Also, and again, this is where I don't think Borrego will be around much longer, Chris. So don't worry about burning this bridge. But Borrego sucked, bro. I just gotta be I gotta be totally transparent with this. And I was saying this for a long time. Borrego's arguably the worst fucking head coach in the NBA last season. Like, if I could just get into the details here before we pivot. The New Orleans Pelicans had 21 losses after holding fourth quarter leads last year. They were one of the only teams that weren't actively tanking that had that many losses. Like, they were coupled in groups like the Pacers and there's other teams that were actively tanking. They had 15. They blew 15 double-digit leads that ultimately resulted in losses. They were terrible. And for us in closing games, so many games come to mind from the opening of the season to like the meltdown versus Spurs, the meltdown versus Memphis several times last season. One can say they underachieved and overachieved at the same time, because arguably it's like, damn, you probably shouldn't have even been in some of these games. I could count to like five games where Zion couldn't even get subbed in. Like for 2 or 3 minutes at a time.
Zion was standing in the corner, like doing just as much as we were, because he just couldn't get the ball. One game that specifically stands out to me would be against the Golden State Warriors on the road, where they couldn't get Zion subbed in. I think it was like a 4-point game. The Warriors went on, I think it was like a 2-point game, and they just couldn't get Zion subbed in. So many times we lost the third time out going into the final few minutes of the game. So many things. This man Borrego was extremely incompetent. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got 85 people in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button. But I also want to say, I think in situations where you can get 2 C pluses for a B, I'd rather just have the B. Like, it just in those situations, because the Pelicans are also, and this is one of the underrated, understated issues that they have once in this offseason, they don't have a lot of roster spots. And, I think right now they're sitting at, I think we can max maybe get to 2 to 3 roster spots. So you're gonna have to send some uneven trades there. I think you gotta turn, like, if you are gonna move Poole, not saying they will, but if you were to move Poole, you would have to move him for or they would have to attach like Jordan Hawkins to him and bring back one player. Like, I think they really got to start trimming the fat as it pertains to roster spots, because even if you're going into this free agency period, if you want to bring DeAndre Jordan back and he doesn't want to be a coach, he wants to play those 20 years, you're going to have a roster spot. You're going to need a roster spot. And so you got about $12 million. You're about $12 million away from the tax. That can get you at least 2 quality guys, or maybe you spend it all on Colin Gillespie. Who knows, right? You can do a lot of things. Go ahead, bro.
I had a question for the panel for a second. Are we operating, we as in like the Pelicans, or just like the league in general, are we operating from like a state of desperation? Like, is anybody operating from a state of desperation? What I mean by that is like, okay, let's say Giannis is moved, right?
Please, whatever. Happen today.
Is there not anywhere? Because obviously, if Giannis goes to like OKC, you feel like that'll be a move where you're like, oh shit, like you know what I mean? That's probably one that puts OKC over the top. But for all of the places that's relatively reported, like if you go to Boston, even with Tatum, if they move Jaylen Brown, you're not overly worried. Like, is there anything that could possibly happen in the league right now that'll have you feeling like I gotta do something, or I won't be able to compete? Because if you look at the West, OKC is like, OKC was stated to be a powerhouse. We just watched them lose. You saw the Spurs go to the finals. You saw them get beat down by a team that just, it's not even that they were significantly better, but, Brunson played amazing, and they had centers to battle with Wemby. The East, I think the East is a better conference, but nobody is just like head and shoulders above any of the other teams. So do you think the Pelicans in this situation are operating from a state of desperation? Because with the parity in the league, you kind of like, if I make a move or two, I could be I just need to get in the fight. What do y'all think of that?
I think if Giannis ends up in the West, I think you have to have a conversation about what the direction is for the Pelicans and talk about potentially entering a rebuild. Like, I've always been a person where, like, if I was in fully control of this team, I have Fears, I have Queen, I have all these players that like are quality, some maybe all-star caliber when talking about Trey or Zion. like can be all-star caliber players. If I'm in a situation, I'm more the type where I would rather, start from the bottom and, build something up. And that's obviously harder with the new lottery odds and all that. But I'm one of those people where I'd rather start something new with a new era and just clean the slate completely and build around those two young guys and figure things out and sell off your assets in the summer when they do have value. But I don't think the Pelicans are going to operate like that unless like Giannis ends up on what's like a Western Conference team that's kind of mid right now. Like not the Lakers.
Golden State.
Yeah. Giannis ends up with the Warriors. Perfect example because they were the 10th seed this year. Or he ends up with the Clippers. The Clippers trade the 5th pick for him. Like, you know what I mean? Like he ends up in one of those situations. Then I start to consider, okay, we might have to tear this thing down. But other than that, no. Like I think they're going to continue to at least try to build something competitive.
I think shout out to Six Rings, say go Heat. Shout out to you, bro. I think parity is at an all-time high in the NBA. I think at this point, we're going into 8. It's been 8 years, 8 different champions, no repeat finals appearances aside from maybe the Celtics, if I'm not mistaken.
Boston went twice. Once won, took a break.
Warriors went twice too because they went with they beat Boston and they went against the Raptors.
Yeah, that's been the last 8 years. Because I guess the Raptors would count. Yeah. So personally, and this is the thing to me with Giannis. I don't think Giannis makes not any team, but I think Giannis doesn't make most teams a contender at this stage. I think Giannis is a perennial first round exit guy, and just like Shea, just like Wemby this year, you catch a break. That's why to me you always be able to compete because all it takes
ankle here.
OKC should have beat San Antonio 4-1 in that series. I think they should have wiped the floor with San Antonio. And that's with Shea playing terrible for 2 series. Yeah. I think the Knicks played.
They got that bum in the middle who looks like Abraham Lincoln, though. So,
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Chet. Yeah. And I think also, I like if Chet is even decent, like you win those games. Like he was God.
He was a 60 overall brown shirt in that series.
He was god awful. Like even if you go into the finals, it's like the Knicks arguably couldn't have played any worse as a collective and still like just dogged walk this. The one game they lost by 4 points. Like it is, I think that's a gentleman's sweep, and even with all the officials' help, just being truthful, like still a gentleman's sweep. I think the West is wide open. I think we've witnessed the false birth of several dynasties on both ends. Like even in the East. This is the Knicks' second conference. Well, this was the Knicks' second conference finals appearance, I believe.
Yeah,
and and they did their thing this year. Go to Denver. The Lakers never went back. Denver seems like they're on a.
They haven't been back. They've been a decline since then.
Yeah, they're in a weird retooling phase.
Minnesota's on.
Let me throw something out there though. Like right now, what roster would you rather have? Like considering the second overall pick to Utah or New Orleans? Like, let's be honest.
I would rather have Utah's roster because I think I'd rather have Utah's roster today. I think tomorrow, as in next season, things could get interesting because I'm not a fan of Jaren Jackson Jr. And I want to say, and Utah is so funny because Utah been tanking for all these years, so it's really hard to get a beat on things. But like even with Laurie, last year, before this year, Laurie had arguably at that time arguably the worst contract in the NBA.
Yep, 100%.
So it's like things really shift somewhat quickly.
That's my only thing is like they're going to be a playoff team next year, at least in my eyes. Like
I think so. I think they got
that's another team. That's a team the Pelicans will probably be neck and neck with if they're trying to compete. And my only thing is like I don't see the clearest path right now because if the main rumor and the main report I'm hearing is about trading Trey Murphy or at least listening to offers on Trey Murphy, and it's not, the Timberwolves are interested in Dejounte because they want a point guard, or Herb Jones has this type of market, or Jordan Poole could be like, I'm starting to feel a bit of concern about things. And I understand like there's no holes in the front office really anymore. It doesn't seem like. I'm just a little concerned by that.
Do you mind if I address that real quick? My thoughts on that are I think there's gonna come a time where there's a market due to desperation. right? So, for example, there's only so many point guards that are going to get moved this year. That's even a you got Ja that's going to be available, Kyrie possibly available, unless somebody, does something strange and like you think Garland is going to get traded from the Clippers or something like that. But other than that, it's like, okay, let's say Ja goes, I don't know, to Milwaukee or
Phoenix.
whatever.
Let's say Phoenix.
Let's say Ja goes to Phoenix, even though I'm not sure, Chaz, but is the Phoenix people saying they have no interest in Ja? Is that a true report?
One of their reporters have come out and said they pretty much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, God, I forgot. Y'all joined kind of late. They pretty much came out and said, "Get a fucking life." So, I don't. Maybe things shift. Maybe it gets to the point where he's so cheap, like a Kuminga or a Trey Young, where you just like fuck it, like I have to do it.
Right. So to throw it that way, it's kind of like, all right, let's say Minnesota misses out on Kyrie or misses out on somebody, right? That's why I think you'll have to wait to see kind of how the market shakes out, similar to what Louisiana girl saying. You want to read that one, Chaz?
Yeah, this is what I was told as well last season. Like, say teams aren't desperate for Herb, Sadiq, or Dejounte. That's why you don't hear their names. Best offer they got for Herb was a protected first, and they only got offered an offer of seconds from Philly for me. That's why I think with a Herb, with a Dejounte, with a Sadiq, I think you're looking to buy, because truthfully, you can't roster all of these guys. Like, even if you were to like trade, let's say you traded hypothetically Herb for 2 firsts. It's like, all right, cool. It gets to a point where I have so many players on the roster that I gotta consolidate at some point. And I think all of those guys coming off their worst years don't necessarily help, especially with a player like Herb, when you kind of see that type of player getting neutralized in the postseason time and time again. With Sadiq only makes $6 million. It would be incredibly difficult to match salary unless, again, like Khalil Ware or something along those lines.
Would you guys extend Sadiq this summer? He's eligible 4 years, 93.
I'm pretty sure he's getting extended this summer. I don't think there's any way they allow him to go into the season without an extension.
I would do it. I'm also immediately looking, because I'm for her, for me, and this is how I feel, I would take anything back. True, any short-term contract.
That's one of my notes here. I have like, when you were asking me like what would be worst case, if the Pelicans enter next season with Herb, Trey, and Sadiq, we have a major problem. They don't need all three. And like, I think the order of operations goes, you want to trade Herb, then you want to trade Trey, and then Sadiq, just because Sadiq's contract is like unreal right now and he's on a 1-year deal. The value is probably the lowest out of anybody potentially. I don't really know. But like, they need to move one of the 3 wings. They just have to. Like, you need to round out.
You also got Bryce McGowan's.
Yeah, exactly. You have, like, if you need a 3rd wing, you have him in Bryce McGowan's. You have the 4th guy in Micah Peavy. Like, you're in a good spot on the wing department, but you're not in the center position. And other than the center, like, I'm comfortable with this roster.
No, you're good. No, I agree with the moving, the Herb move. I think I'm more patient about it, about the entire process, I guess, because how the view I take from the league is, unless you have a bona fide deal that you're ready to make right now, or that somebody else is ready to make, which until Giannis is moved, let's be honest, nobody's going to do anything. So you don't even truly know what your options are to a degree. And as we get closer to the draft, if Giannis isn't moved by the draft, that's another like sticking point. You don't know who's going to draft what.
Yeah.
So exactly. So it's just kind of like,
that would suck. Like,
it's like you don't really want to like. So when
I don't even want to think about that.
As we're thinking about it, unfortunately, you find yourself in a position where it's like, yeah, Herb don't have value right now, right? But we saw Denver lose in the first round, can't guard nobody, and they can't even like think to sign their major players right now. So it's just kind of like certain teams are going to come to points where it's just like, all right, this might be the best y'all have as well.
I think Herb does have some value. I think you can still get a late lottery pick for him, potentially, like maybe 15, something along those lines, 14, something along those lines. And I say that mainly because that was the offseason. I mean, that was during the season when you got there, you evaluated, you was answering the phone, seeing what was going to happen with guys. Of course, that's a negotiation tactic. You're going to ask for as much as possible, you know. And in the off season, guys are always work more. So that's another thing. Luckily for the Pelicans, they aren't at any risk of being in a luxury tax as it currently stands, especially once you decline Kevon Looney. And I don't see this happening, but you could kind of. I hope this don't happen, but you know, you could waive Carlo too and get damn near that full MLE. But
I will say with Carlo, like I did something on him recently, and like after the time I came through when you guys opened up the stream or whatever, and Alvin just said something like, "Let me just see Carlo shoot 5 threes," and I just started thinking about it, and I was looking at the numbers, I was looking at his advanced box scores and all these things, and I'm like, this guy does need an opportunity to just rock. Like he really can play basketball. He like you look at him and you think like if you saw just a photo of him on like a draft website before he was drafted, you would look at him and say, that's a white big from Europe. That dude's going to space the floor, play no defense. He's going to be able to rebound because he's going to be strong, but that's about it. He's both of the first two things I mentioned, but also a freak athlete and a really, really comfortable and good defender and screener.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hold on one second, guys. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got 93 people in the building. No, I'm not sure what the like count is, but we're gonna take a very quick commercial break. And on the other side of that, well, during this break, I want you guys to hit the like button. And on the other side of that, we'll talk some more about some of these things.
Look at today's game. What are the components that you believe a team absolutely has to have in order to win a championship?
I think there are shooters, and then I think there are scorers. I think you got to score in this league, whether it be shooting the three or getting to the paint. I think that's you got to keep that scoreboard moving, Steven. You can't get stuck on 80 points and think you're going to get stops and win the game. So you got to figure out a way to keep that scoreboard moving.
38 likes is fucking crazy. We might as well just go ahead and wrap this show up. 38 likes is fucking crazy. Let's hit the like button. Shout out to everybody in the
hell you doing, bro?
Yeah, we gotta get to at least 70.
We got all three of us.
Yeah, we gotta get to at least.
We got a triple threat.
Right.
Pippen, Jordan, and freaking Rodman. Let's go.
I don't even know.
I'll be Rodman.
Feeling like Luke Longley.
I'll be Rodman because I got this tie-dye hat on. But let's get to at least 75 likes. Shout out to everybody.
Canada whooped some ass today, bro. 6-0.
Shout out to Canada.
We're going to the round of 32. Let's
Jesus.
get hype. I know we're all American, or everyone else is American.
Well, we're
but
American.
Everyone else is American. I actually got my wife's people is from Canada. Shout out to them.
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're
shout
from-
out to the Canadians.
What
What's it?
Oh, I said what province?
I don't know. We was in Toronto for like 2 weeks.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how all of that works.
That's
We was in
Ontario. That's
Toronto.
Ontario.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
It was a great time. We went out there in December. It was cold as hell.
Yeah.
Great time though.
So we got 100 people in the building. If you're joining in, let's just hit the like button, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button as well. So when you talk about this roster makeup, center is absolutely a position of need. And I think even more than center, I mean, of course you want rim defense, but it got to be a very specific type of center, in my opinion. I'm totally out on Miles Turner. Miles Turner is 7 foot and does not rebound whatsoever. I don't think the offense is enough to,
12 points.
compensate for the lack of rebounding. But I also want to say this. Now, this is something I can't say too much, but I'll say they are going into this offseason being, this is a buzzword at this point, aggressive, right? But they're going into this offseason and they're going to be approaching, even free agency being aggressive. Like, I don't think they're going into this offseason saying people are just automatically going to say no to us. Now, one of the things I will say as it pertains to why you have to focus so much on trades in the draft if you're the New Orleans Pelicans, this is a very unbeloved market, right? For us to organizationally, and players just don't want to live in New Orleans. Like that's really what it is. Football is so much different from basketball, like you wouldn't believe, as far as people wanting to be in the city. So the only way you're really going to acquire talent is you're going to overpay a guy via free agency. You're going to trade for a guy. who don't really have a choice, or you're going to draft a guy who also doesn't necessarily have a choice, and maybe they become, endeared to the city or what have you. So
the issue ain't getting people this to love the city. It's getting them here to see what's going on. Like,
that's a good point.
Like Derek Queen got here and I get he had the whole Troy Weaver, but Jeremiah too. Like these two young guys came here and they said, I want to play all 82 games. I don't care that we suck right now. Like these fans actually care. Like the city is so welcoming. It's good food, good people, good times. Like
all you need is a good team.
Yeah.
And you know what? Historically, while the team has been the last 2 years, previous to that, they did have the play-in run. They, you know what I mean? They had
season.
The 49, they had stretches of being extremely competitive. Let me toss a question to y'all real quick. Do you think as they look at their board of players, there's like trigger points for each like player that they're looking at? This is what I mean by that. Let's say they go into the draft, right? And it's like, I want a Demara. If Chasman, you talked about this before. Let's say pick 8 comes, the Atlanta pick, they take somebody else. Now you sitting there at 9. You didn't already had the conversation about maybe Clay for Herb in 9, or you know what I mean? Something like that. Do you think there are certain points in each part of the offseason where it's like, if something happens and like we might not have an idea of it right now, like they might not do it today. For example, I don't think you should trade for a draft pick today because you don't know how the draft is going to fall. So that don't really make sense for you to do a draft pick, a draft trade, especially because it's more expensive right now before the draft as opposed to when it's actually happening, right? But if a Demara is there at 9 or 10 and you've been talking to Milwaukee, that they're like, all right, boom, that now is time for us to strike. Do you think that there's certain points of each, off season or a player value or anything like that that like automatically triggers them to make some sort of a move?
You take that one, Chaz. Let me think about that.
All right. Well, I absolutely think that. And shout out to everybody in the building. We got 95 people in the building. We're almost at our like goal. So make sure you hit that like button. I absolutely think they have several contingency plans. Like if they do like Nate Ament and Nate Ament goes 6, it's like, all right, well, the guy we were really after is a Demara. It would have been nice to have Nate Ament if he'd fallen. But I've seen a Demara projected to go as low as like 12. You know what I'm saying? Also, there's avenues to maybe you do business with the Milwaukee Bucks again. You know what I'm saying? There's just several avenues for them, and I think they have several contingency plans also. Like if a day isn't there, or even let's say a day is there, you draft a day, you're like, all right, well, we think he's ready, but we also want to round out that big position. We may not be as confident in Eve or as confident in Sadiq or as confident as Queen at the center position. Maybe he's more of a 4. I don't think that'll stop them from doing anything. And also, one very important thing to note, like if you were to go get, let's just say if it was the 27 swap for a pick 10, hypothetically, like I have to roster this player, I have to pay this player. This is going to cut into my MLE. Now I got to get rid of one of you motherfuckers. Oh, I got to figure this out because now I have less money to spend in the market. I think pick 10 is probably around 8-9 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So now for a team that only would have 12 million after you waive Kevon Looney, now you're left with about maybe 3-4. You're not going to go over the tax. You're not going to be an apron team. So now I have to find a way to trade someone to take back less salary. It's just different mechanisms that I think will come into play.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like if I was looking to trade up in this draft, I don't think they're the archetype of player that Troy Weaver likes. I don't think there's someone in that type of archetype, maybe other than an Demara, that you could draft today and be like, damn, that guy's going to come in and he's going to be an impact player from the first day he steps here. Like, I think there's a lot of raw guys in the range where it looks like the Pelicans are going to be looking to trade. My focus would be trading up in the second round. I wrote down 3 names. Miles Uzon, Tyler Nickel out of Vanderbilt. And then the last name I had written down here was Kadari Copeland. He
Okay.
went to McNeese
Oh, yeah,
there for a
yeah.
bit. He's a big guard, 6'6". I like his skill set. He's not a great shooter, but a really good athlete, good defender, smart, mature. But I think like a guy like Tyler Nickel, you can trade up 8 spots to pick 50 with Toronto, and you go get him at pick 50. You walk out of there. And also the thing with moving up and moving around the second round is if they draft a guy, they can convince him that, we're going to have a roster spot for you at some point, but we're going to hit you with this 2-way contract for now.
Mhm.
And that saves them a roster spot while still having 41 games to work with a guy and figure out, is he worth rostering a spot with?
I think you make an excellent point about them trading up in the second round. And one guy I would say keep an eye on is Trevon Brazile.
Yes.
I heard they to me, if you like Nate Ament, in a world where Nate Ament is just like a 4 type guy, I think Trevon Brazile already does everything for the most part. He don't have the ceiling of a Nate, but he already has, and it won't be as expensive to acquire him. There's a guy I heard they would have some interest in. Shout out to Conquantis. He said my sources say they're also looking at Cameron Carr. Louisiana Gal mentioned Yaxel, Delon Jr. and 2 others. And
see, that's my thing, right? Like you trade up in the first round, guys I would be actually looking at is a Cam Carr and a Daymara. Sorry, I had them down here. A Daymara. Yeah, like even a Yaxel. Like there's so many other guys I would be considering trading up for that aren't named Nate Ament. Like I just don't think I think his ceiling is Trey Murphy. And it's like you have Trey Murphy. Why would you entertain trading Trey or trading even like someone else on the roster to bring in a guy who at his best is going to be this current form of Trey when we all know Trey definitely has another level to his game?
I'm under the impression that once the drafts, because right now we're still in like draft mode.
Yep.
Once the draft starts again, Troy has been, touted about, about his draft skills by multiple people in the leagues as one of the, best eyes for talent. And I can't imagine that even though they haven't scouted most of these people, when I mean scouted, like they don't have a pick, so they haven't brought any of like the first round guys in. I'm pretty sure they've done like due diligence and whatnot on a multitude of players. So like as the draft starts falling and you start, as the draft starts to unfold and you start seeing certain things play out again, if you're looking at a Daymara at 12 and because the OKC possibly could trade into the top 10 for said player. We don't know who said player might be, but then if you're sitting there with 12 and it's I don't know, the Clippers at 12, maybe the Clippers value her at 12 or something like that. Like what if they gave 12 and 17 to go to 5, right? Maybe they value a Herb as opposed to
you mean OKC.
OKC, like OKC traded 12 and 17, went up 5, 6, whatever. Let's say they go up to 6. Brooklyn is at 12, and this is a off the spotlight situation. But if you have a team that already has a bunch of picks or a very unique situation, and they need something that you have, then those are the times where you can call about said players, because I just think the draft, especially the lottery, is going to be completely flexible. And then teams like Denver with their pick at 20, Detroit with their pick that
21.
Denver picked at 21. Yeah, Detroit.
No, Denver's 26. 25? Detroit's 21.
Okay, at 26.
Yep.
So Denver at 26, Detroit at 21. When you get to those kinds of players as well, again, if they had any if they like Chris Anak, he might be available. Cam Carr, you don't know, he might be available. Again, a lot of the names that y'all mentioned might be available. So it's kind of, I'm not overly worried about Dejounte as of yet or Herb as of yet, because I think I'm gonna go out. Fuck it. I think Herb is moved on draft day.
I think
Herb is moved by draft.
I would still love to see the getting a future first pick 26 and Cam Johnson for Herb.
Yeah, to me,
my favorite deal.
To me, that or this one, because it's funny you guys mentioned this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button. To me, I would look to do something along these lines if possible. Now, this may be a little ambitious for his pick. I think it's 15 if I'm not mistaken.
I don't. Bryson, they want to trade up for Keaton Wagler is what I've been told by some people in the Bulls situation.
That's a good move. So they want to take 4 and go up again?
Yeah, they want to trade up, bring in Keaton. They've worked out Keaton like twice now. I've heard that's their guy from a few different people in the Bulls kind of area.
They're going to have to get in that top 7 range to do that.
Yeah.
Now, this is the only reason I present this deal, right? Not that I think Herb is worth pick 15, because honestly, I wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But if I was the Bulls and if I were looking to move on from Patrick Williams, who still has about 3 years, and if I can convince the Pelicans, like, all right, I'll take that deal back. And also, if I'm the Bulls, I could flip Herb contract further down the line and maybe take on more assets, where if the Pelicans are really eager to get into this draft specifically, Patrick Williams is not a very good player, but he makes less money than Herb's going to make. He's younger, shoots better from beyond the arc, could be a bit of a reclamation project. I think with the way Herb defended last year, one can argue there about what defensively right now. Of course, Herb had an incredibly down year. Yeah. Like, that's not normal, but shooting wise, Patrick Williams is a career 38% 3-point shooter, which was kind of interesting to find out. But so I'm interested. Would you guys do something like that potentially? Take back.
If it was on the table, I would consider it. I just, again though, like, Patrick Williams' contract does scare me. I mean, I like the idea of him being a reclamation project. I think he's the type of guy that needs a second chance, but $18 million for 3 more years. Like,
think about it. Herb's about to be making 20 for about 3 more years.
Let me ask you this: then why would they do it?
I loved that deal when it happened. Like, I was so for it.
I loathe when it happened, because I already knew what was gonna happen. Like, honestly, I think only reason I think they would do it, L, is because, for one, they've been trying to get rid of Patrick Williams for years. For 2, Bryson's been in the building with Herb. Maybe he thinks Herb's a better player. You got Hawkins, who was another guy who he was in the building with. I think he was assistant GM when Hawkins was drafted. Maybe you look at him as a reclamation project. If not, he's falling off the books. You could always repackage Herb down the line. And that team, they could talk all that rebuild shit they want. You got like 2 or 3 players that's going to be really hard to move. Well, let's just say Giddey. Giddey, for example. Giddey is one. Giddey's too good for you to just give away. Yeah. Right? So you're not going to just give him away. And he makes $20+ million. Then you got Patrick Williams at 18 that – if for 3 years, no one's going to take that deal. You're going to have to pay to move him probably, unless it's for salary purposes. You're not moving Matas, I don't think. So as much as they want to rebuild, and with the new draft odds, like, yo, you have to at least
you can't afford to be bad.
Yeah, and you have to at least be competitive in the play-in, dude. Like, and that's just a couple people off the top of my head I'm thinking about on that roster. I think that roster is still a little.
If they throw in Jalen Smith, I like that deal a little bit.
Now, there was an interpretation. I'm sorry, not interpretation. There was another iteration of this deal where it was this Jalen Smith in 15 for Herb Jones. But the only reason I think they would need something more is because Pat, you've probably had to take back Patrick Williams' contract. Yeah, like Bryson. Sure. No, Bryson at this point, he's an ace poker player, so you're not.
I'll put this out there. That team has such a bright future. Like, I watched the entire 30-minute Thiago Splitter introductory presser, and just like him and Bryson are looking at each other like a married couple looks at each other on their wedding day.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm hoping for their downfall. I'm not gonna lie, bro. When you leave, I'm praying for Trajan's downfall, not in a mean-spirited way, but we didn't really reap the benefits for whoever. Maybe that was on David Griffin, but I don't want to see you go to the East and be incredibly successful. No, I want you to go somewhere and I want you to struggle. I want for Bryson.
I'll put this out there in the alternate reality. That's the Pelicans right now. They got the 4th pick. They got Bryson running the show. They got Thiago as the head coach. Like, in a different world, that's the Pelicans right now.
This is why I strongly disagree with you, Chris. Chicago is a lot different than New Orleans. We're talking about, far as just like Chicago is one of the largest markets in America.
Oh, for sure.
And then it's like, it's a historic organization. You could kind of blame a lot of the issues on some of the past. Like, you can say, well, that was the last GM, past front office. That was Billy Donovan.
Maybe Billy Donovan would.
And that's one of the major disadvantages it is being in this particular market, because you have an organization with no history of success, and people go out of their way to bash the organization on their way out. Versus the Bulls is always like, it's the Bulls, it's Chicago. Like, it's, there's still that level of allure that's where you're going to be willing to give that organization a chance. I remember.
I just meant the pieces. I didn't mean.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like,
Listen, I like Montes. I like Noah. I like Noah when they drafted Noah. I like Giddey. Giddey done got himself out of trouble. He done kind of laid low. He had some instances of some issues, kind of got him moved on from OKC. But with all of that being said, I hope for their downfall, bro. And I do believe in Tiago. I think Tiago is going to be a really good coach. I think Bryson's going to do a good job. I think if they take Caleb's going to be good. But I hope their ceiling is like similarly to what it was. They never reach a final or something like that.
Well, let's pivot away from Chicago a bit.
Fuck them.
Yeah, let's talk more about some Pelicans. So, personally, I think Jordan Poole is I can see a world where he's moved, but I will say, from speaking to people close to that situation, that they felt like he was done, and not necessarily Pelicans people, right? Because I don't want to speak for them, but speaking to people close to the Poole situation, they felt like he was done a major disservice by the coaching staff and disrespected as a professional with the DNPs. This is something
professional crime, though. It was a crime what was done to JP, in my opinion.
And it's something I was told by multiple people. So I'm a little unsure if they'll be willing, because I don't think, to me, the Pelicans are in a position where you really Jordan Poole for Dejounte, unless Minnesota just gets super desperate, you're only in a position to really take back other distressed assets. Like if you want to take back extra years with the Sabonis contract, if you wanted to get Ja, if you wanted to get Zach LaVine, you probably could do something along those lines. But it's almost kind of worth bringing him back and just seeing like he's only going to get more valuable as the deadline nears, like Elvin said, also. But what are your thoughts on a guy like Jordan Poole, and how would you maneuver with that contract going into this offseason? I'm interested in hearing what both you guys think. And make sure y'all hitting that like button, man. Shout out to everybody in the building.
I have a terrifying proposition for you before you go. Let me let you think about this for a second as well before you answer. If Jordan Poole off the bench, because I think he's going to come off the bench and be more in his more ideal role, right? With a quality coach that I think are going to be able to, use him similarly to how Mosley used Cole Anthony. And I think Jordan Poole's a better player than Cole Anthony, right?
Oh, for sure. Yep.
If Jordan Poole returns to Golden State form Jordan Poole, hypothetically, right? Historically, the dudes, other than his rookie year, averages around 18 on like 20-something minutes a game, something like that. I could see that being a situation for him. If he looks like that version of that guy, are you like moving him as soon as you can, or are you even considering an extension if he's like key to winning?
I'm not extending him. I'm gonna be honest.
No matter what,
he'd have to be doing he'd have to be in 6 Man of the Year conversation. I just don't think it's worth handing out that long-term money, especially if we're talking about in a reality where you extend Sadiq. Like I'm way more open to just the flexibility in trading him and bringing in future assets than having him long-term on the roster.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will
say I'm for keeping him heading into the season. You guys changed my opinion on that. I think going back to the Patrick Williams thing, talking about, a player reclamation project, why not have an in-house reclamation project with a new head coach and a front office in its first full year where it feels like they're doing what they want to do? I'm all for keeping him.
Shout out to everybody in the building. We got 100+ people in the building. Let's get it to 80 likes, man. My thing with Jordan Poole and looking at the Pelicans salary cap situation moving forward, even going into next year where free agency probably is going to be a little bit better. To me, it's imperative that you move the Dejounte and Herb. Like, to me, you have to upgrade those two positions, specifically if you believe that Fears is going to be starting by year 3. I think you gotta pivot from Dejounte and turn it into a quality 2 guard. Maybe you turn Herb into a center or shooting or what have you. Maybe in the reverse, what have you. Because next season, even when Jordan Poole falls off the book, even if you relinquish his cap hold, if Dejounte Murray opts in, you really only looking at maybe $20 million, right? And this is not counting Sadiq Bey's extension. This is not counting if you draft a guy. This is not counting a number of factors if you sign a free agent to a multiple-year deal. So I think with the Pelicans, it would almost they would almost be in a better position to extend someone like that to a trade, like a bloated Kuminga type deal. So we're like, all right, we're not going 2 years, maybe the second year is a team option, or 3 years, maybe like it's partially non-guaranteed, maybe the third year is a team option.
Like a 2 for 50 kind of thing. You get 25 for one season.
Something like that, exactly. Because as it
kick the can down the road.
As it currently stands, like one of the issues, I know people spoke about the Jordan Hawkins thing, and even with Herb's extension, which I was totally against with Herb's extension, it's like with the Pelican situation, you need tradable salary. Like you have to have tradable salary because you're not a free agent market as it currently stands. You could draft a guy, cool, or maybe you could position yourself to, you have cap space to where you could take guys back into your cap space. But one of the reasons that Chicago has so much cap space and that the Nets have all this cap space and the Lakers have all this cap space is because everyone they draft sucks. So like aside from Matas, it's like they never, like Chicago, the best
never
player
had to pay nobody.
never to pay nobody. Like the best player they had recently was like Zach LaVine. Like you traded Vucevic, Anthony Simons fell off the books this year. Zach LaVine, 2-time All-Star, so I say he was the best. And
you got rid of Kobe White.
Whereas with the Pelicans, like you got 3 guys you've extended at this point, and it just gets difficult if they're not upper echelon caliber players.
What's the argument for why are both of you anti Dejounte? Because I'm finding that this is a very unpopular opinion, but I am fully pro Dejounte.
What do you mean by anti?
Yeah,
go ahead, Chaz.
Like you don't want to keep him, you want to trade him. You think he doesn't have value, those type of things.
Yeah,
Chaz,
I mean,
first.
For me, it's based on you haven't played in 2 years, and when you have played, you've been nearly a negative in every single category since you left Atlanta. 3-point shooting is at a historic low. Turnovers are crazy. The ability to beat guys off the dribble is just not there anymore. He's still an expert playmaker, and rebounding is still there, but watching the games, it's kind of like the impact defensively has dropped significantly as well. Now, some of that this year, I mean, because he only played 14 games this year, is of course you coming back from an injury. Then last year you were coming back from an injury. Some of the off the court things, is as far as I don't even want to get into that, with some of the lies and shit like that. But just generally speaking, there's a reason everyone moves on from Dejounte. From the Spurs to the Hawks to no one actively wants to keep him. And I think Fears last year, and that Knicks game stands out to me specifically. I think by next year, Fears already surpasses him. Then it's what do you do? Because it's a major overpay for him at this point.
I'll say for me, I'm not Dejounte has to go today like Chaz. Chaz is he gotta go now.
I'm sorry. I just don't think you got many avenues to improve. And so, that's really the issue.
My point right there, that comment.
Which one?
He's a leader. I think this team needs a leader. I think Jamal Mosley is going to lean on someone in the locker room to lead this group. And I understand you could talk about the lies and all those things, but even the numbers support this. The Pelicans were a better team when Dejounte was on the court last season than they were.
Now this is Elvin's area because the only team they beat that I believe had a winning record during that period was the Toronto Raptors, if I'm not mistaken.
Hey,
and they were on the second. And they were on the second. Yeah, and they won the second night of a back-to-back. It's and look, Louisiana girl knows a lot more about the situation. And I don't want to turn into a Dejounte bash session, but yeah, man, Dejounte
the players like him though. I think the players the team likes him. Team morale is high when Dejounte is on the sidelines.
Until you start losing. My only everything is cool until you start losing. This is my opinions on Dejounte. It's not that I think Dejounte's a bad player. I think Dejounte's a starting caliber player in the league. I think he can start for multiple teams, right? My only thing with Dejounte is, more than anything, is that he doesn't move the needle enough for me to feel as though I can't play Fizz. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like I think I think the gap going into year 2, I think the gap between him and Fizz won't be that good. Also, he makes $34 million right now. I think you have to capitalize on players like Dejounte to get better, because that's truly one of the pieces that could start for multiple teams. Teams probably won't feel like he's such a bad player or anything like that. So, for example, if I could turn Dejounte into one of my distressed assets, like, say what you want about Ja, but Ja's a significantly better player than a Dejounte Murray, right? So if I could turn Dejounte into Ja, I think the gap between Ja and what Ja can do for your team, as opposed to, the gap between Ja and Fizz, and the gap between Ja and the Fizz and Dejounte, isn't as wide. Also, like, just the results haven't been sustainable enough, and there's a bunch of things that leads into that. So it's just kind of like.
But
go ahead.
My thing is, like, you were mentioning, like, Fizz is going to overtake Dejounte, and I fully think Dejounte understands that. But my whole thing is, if you trade Dejounte for someone like Ja, you're bringing in another player who, I'm not going to use the phrase character issues, but has had some issues, whether it's with Vince Williams crashing out at him in France, because Vince Williams is like, hey, bro, why the fuck aren't you at practice? Like, what, like, you think you're just going to go stand on the sidelines and dribble a ball and laugh around? You've abandoned the team for the last year. You bring in a guy, you have Dejounte there. He's bridging the gap between the Fizz era and in the Dejounte era. You have a veteran who's going to teach Fizz genuine point guard qualities. And then when Dejounte's done, you clean the slate. You don't have to worry about it. And I understand Ja is a better player for the now to be like that starting point guard. But I also think the trajectory the Pelicans are on, by the time Fizz is the full-time starting point guard and is starting the season at the point guard position, which I expect by year 3 will be the case, I think Dejounte is slowly on his way out. He's on the last year of his contract. You kind of just let it go through. And I also think a Fizz Dejounte backcourt, with the way Fizz was able to play off the ball and shoot the 3 ball, isn't that bad. Like, I think if you start the 2 of them in the backcourt, you have Poole as your third guard, that's not that bad of a thing. And I also think when you look around the league at the way other guards in the league are paid, I am comfortable paying Dejounte Murray at his age, even with his injury status, $34 million, because he's going to rebound. He's going to score efficiently at the rim. He's going to make his ass off. And even though the defense wasn't there, I cater a lot of that to just his legs not fully being under him. When he's locked in, he's a great point of attack defender, and he knows how to close games.
Well, I have to say this, right? I don't think the numbers necessarily support those things. And this for some behind the scenes things. Like, Dejounte was the Ja issue with Vince Williams, certainly something that was mainstream. It's just, I hate to use it because it's such a cliche. It's levels to this, right? It's like when you're such a good player, even if you're not like necessarily reliable these days, it's just like
I'm Ja Morant.
That you can deal with a little bit more, and you get.
Oh, okay. Wait. To clarify, Dejounte's making 32 this year and 30 next year with the player option on.
Yeah,
32. Mm-hmm.
So it's the fact.
Would you rather pay Emmanuel?
Chris, let me land here, Chris. Let me cook
Okay.
Yeah. So it's that. The numbers suggest, even when he was healthy last year, you're talking about pretty high volume guy, 17 points on 16 shot attempts. He averaged 17, 7, and 5, which is incredible if you're just looking at the box score, right? But also 3 turnovers as a starting point guard, shot 29% from beyond the arc on 5 attempts a game, little over 5 attempts a game, played 31 games. Of course, we had 2 major injuries. This year, 14 games, even finishing at the rim last year, it was 44% from, But this, and probably mid-range as well. So I'll add that in there. Y'all will just make it like he wasn't finishing at the rim. But this year, 57% at from the 2-point space. And he did make a major improvement from last year to this year. He went from 29% from behind the arc to 30%. So he's trending upwards. He averaged 16, 6 and 5.
Legs aren't under him, man.
But they was under him last year. They were under him last year.
But
hold on. Let me say
he was
this
the only
also.
player playing the year before that.
Well, let me say this also. It's 16, 3 and 6. And again, to me, he's one of the best rebounding guards in the league, like bar none.
Mm-hmm.
But the turnovers, again, crazy. Average 3.4 turnovers again. I think Dejounte tends to, like with this past year, I think he had a couple games where he started off really hot. And I think his zenith was probably against the Raptors. Had a great game. And the finish was kind of whack, but this is when you kind of saw the trajectory kind of shift.
Well, I think Houston, he was 14 for 18.
Houston,
I think that was his best game.
He was balling. Houston, he was balling. I think where it kind of shifted at was maybe that Phoenix game to where okay, now it's starting to get a little different. Then in Portland, he was essentially benched. Not saying Borrego did the right thing there, but he was benched in the second quarter. Kind of made a bit of a fuss about it on the sidelines. Started the third, and we didn't see much Fizz in the Knicks game. Of course, Fizz was pulled in the second half of the game, and Dejounte was allowed to finish the game. Ultimately, they lost. But I don't think the juice worth the squeeze in some of those instances. Not for that price, just at this stage.
Would you swap him for Emmanuel Quickly 1-for-1 today?
I think Emmanuel Quickly's contract is too long. But if we talk about the stress asset for the stress asset,
I'd do it.
I actually do agree with that because I think like the shooting output from Emmanuel Quickly would be a huge boost for this team.
I think Emmanuel Quickly also could play on and off the ball.
Yeah,
I think if the Raptors had Emmanuel Quickly, I think they would have. They might have took that series. I ain't gonna lie.
For sure, they would have. But other guys getting paid more than Dejounte, Derek White, Drew Holiday, or like in the similar price range.
I think all those guys are
Dyson,
better.
Freddie,
I know Fred's on the. Well, he had a restructured contract, right? He actually was making more.
He's making 25. So he's below Dejounte.
Yeah, he opted out. I mean, and then they extended him, and then he got hurt immediately, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But see, here's the thing. For clarity, when Dejounte got that extension, he was coming off an All-Star bid, so he earned that money.
Yeah, when he got paid that compared to the other guards on the market who weren't All-Stars, that was an underpay. Like that was the consensus when he got paid. He was coming off 22.5, 7 and 7.
Yeah, the money has to go somewhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so ultimately he earned that money as an All-Star. So that's just like Brandon for whatever happened in the postseason. Him being an All-Star this past year, he earned every penny of that money. Now,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? He was an All-Star this season. But
they got back to the postseason as well.
Yeah, but 2 seasons of not playing is a long time, and especially like when you do play, you would have to be an extraordinary type guy, contributor.
You'd have to be Zion.
You would have to be Zion or Ja Morant. You would have to be Zion or Ja Morant. And that's,
has Ja been good when he plays?
Man, Ja last game, he was.
Ja has not been. Guys, we can't keep doing this. Ja sucked this year. Ja was so bad.
Ja was pretty awesome.
We're comparing. Ja's on a decline right now, right? Also, I don't want to say he's like on a true decline, but if you're comparing Ja Morant to Ja Morant, then you'll be like, Ja was awful. But if you compare Ja to like most players in the league, also Ja did get hurt at the end of last season. So he was coming into this year off of
19 and a half though on 41% from the field.
Yo, if we comparing the last
23% from 3, not good.
If we compare,
is the 8 assists not good?
The 8 assists is great, but Dejounte is giving me another 4 rebounds in better efficiency.
If you had to play right now, so you take Dejounte in a game right now. No, wait, in one game right now. If you got Dejounte versus Ja Morant,
do I know if Ja's gonna get to the arena on time?
Yeah, he's showing up. Ja's not playing. Ja not playing because of Ja right now. To be honest, in my opinion.
And like, honestly, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you have Ja Morant versus Dejounte Murray in a game, who are you taking to win said game?
Dejounte.
You know how I feel like? I feel like Tony Allen right now. Like, yo, shout out the mud.
Let me out the mud, baby.
Okay. I wouldn't put John a one-on-one.
No,
like,
bro. Bro, Chris. Look. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Like, because this is all objective, right?
Oh, for sure. No, of course.
This is 100% objective. Dejounte couldn't lace Ja's shoes. Right? like, dude, like even like last year, right? Let's say this year was a total fuck off for both players because Dejounte coming off an Achilles, Ja dealing with whatever the fuck happened. I don't know.
Well, Ja had the injury. Remember,
he had the
hurt
elbow
himself in the OKC series to end the season.
Yeah,
when they were in the playoffs and whatnot.
Right. He was like, I figured them out. Now he was busting their ass, but they got swept still, right? Mm-hmm. But even last season, Ja 23, 7 and 4, right? Again, field goal percentage only shot 30% from beyond our career, 31% shooter. Got to the line about 6 times, 3.7 turnovers, played in 50 games. Even if we're going back to last year, it's like when Ja plays, Ja on this team, 100% healthy, is arguably better than Zion. Like, that's like, it's just
he was a top 10 player in the league in his 3rd year.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's like, he's several tiers above a Dejounte, or I'm trying to think somebody who would be in that realm. I also think,
though, Dejounte's first year in New Orleans, he deserves a bit of grace for the fact that, his mother died and was going through that.
She didn't,
didn't die. Sorry. Sorry, was it his cousin who passed?
A cousin of him passed.
Sorry, I missed.
No, it's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
She was in the hospital dealing with stuff. He had the injury, then he, like, with the broken hand, then he tears his Achilles.
Yeah,
like,
it was rough.
I think he deserves a bit of grace for these first 2 years.
I think I think the grace he'll receive is being allowed to come into the season as the starting point guard. I don't think the priority is we gotta move Dejounte today, right? I think the priority first is we gotta move Herb today, right? Like, I think the priority is we gotta move Herb today. I just think with Dejounte, it's more like, okay, you got a lot going on. You say you want to be here. All right, cool. Fizz that might not be quite ready, but when I think the clock starts to tick on Dejounte a little bit more, let's say Fizz in Summer League looks incredible preseason. If preseason comes and both of them play and Fizz looks anything comparable to Dejounte, I think it's going to start pushing the button on Dejounte a lot faster.
My only thing was I just think there's a smoother transition from an organizational standpoint to just hold on to Dejounte, let him ride his contract out, and let Fizz slowly ascend ahead of him.
I
can't do 2 years. I can't do 2.
I think.
Hold on, wait, no, Chance. I'm sorry.
I just want to say this real quick. Go ahead. We got 100 people in the building. make sure y'all hit that like button. Go ahead, Alvin.
No. Do you think Dejounte, that's this year, if they were to make the decision, hey, we're gonna start Fizz, you think Dejounte is willing to come off the bench? Then with that,
for sure he not willing to come off the bench.
It's like, so that alone,
he's gonna,
that alone from an organizational standpoint, we can't be allowed to have.
He might attack Chaz on Twitter if that happens and blame him.
Absolutely, he's number one Pelicans critic. Absolutely.
See how that works out.
With that being said, it's just kind of like Ja. Listen, even with Ja, right? Even with Ja on the downside, and I don't even think Ja's that far down. I just think Ja kind of like y'all, similarly with Z, but Ja is so good that like they won't say we putting Ja on the bench. They'll say Fizz got to start next to Ja. Like, I don't think they would do that with Dejounte. We should just live in the fantasy land that they could just F Ja, F Murray, and just Kyrie, bro. Kyrie,
To me, Kyrie would be the most ideal acquisition.
He would be the best because he can play on and off the ball. He's gonna mentor fears.
And you know what? The relationship with Sham God's already there. And that's something I kind of been saying for a long time. When people ask me my preference for Kyrie versus Ja, and it's always Kyrie, right? Just because it's a more seamless fit. I think it's less about Dejounte versus Ja and Dejounte versus the field and the opportunity cost. Again, 30. If Dejounte was expiring this year, it would be whatever. I'm not a person who feels like you. Yeah, cool. You be like, whatever. But the fact that it's damn, there's an extra year on that deal, it just makes it so much difficult to fill out the rest of the roster, especially if you were to extend Sadiq Bey. And hypothetically, worst case scenario, this is a great show, man. I really appreciate y'all making time to do this. This is a great episode. This is a great conversation, Gavin. This is real. This is fire, right? I think, if let's say you were to keep Herb and that contract goes to $20 million, you're like, shit, I'm kind of locked into this team now, more or less. And it would just be so difficult to maneuver and even bring draft picks in. Because hypothetically speaking, let's say next year, let's say you keep the roster intact, you win some solid games. The Bucks, whatever happens with them, and you get their pick. So you get the number 1 pick, hypothetically speaking. And you draft that guy's making $13-14 million on a rookie scale deal.
By next year, it might be 17.
Yeah, it might be 17, right? You might. Now it's fuck, somebody got to go. Who can go? Who can, it just becomes so difficult. And that's why I'm also I don't think I want a bunch of picks because it just becomes so difficult to fill out the roster and pay all of those guys.
Also, that's similarly with a Trey Murphy deal, right? If you talking about sending trade for players and picks, you at some point got to truly start consolidating the roster. Eves might have to go, Carlo might have to go, Bryce might all of your
cheap labor.
Second half, the second half of the roster, your 9 through 15 kind of guys or whatever. All of them pretty much might have to go. And not saying that they shouldn't, but some of those players are good players that you've seen be able to contribute. So,
and I think, and I'm very interested to hear Chris's position on this. Matter of fact, we're gonna play a quick commercial and segue to this topic right here. Make sure y'all hit that like button during the commercial break. It's a great show. I am really enjoying this conversation, man. I'm happy both of y'all had time. Yo, shout out to friend of the show, performance coach Chris. Had a great interview with him, man, and he revealed a lot. Wait till y'all see the special DVD edition, the director's cut. Because
we burning CDs or what?
Hey man, look, I got some LimeWire software on one of these desktops, but so it's bad, right? So the organization that Joe Dumars inherited and some of the things that Zion himself and Chris had to deal with as the new regime ushered in, and Zion kind of was brought in as a rookie and ushered into the next level. It was just insane, bro. So much of it was insane. And I think. Well,
I'm sorry not to cut you out. Dog, you seen the picture? DQ gotta chill, dog.
I ain't see it. Look, I don't even want to lose my train of thought. I ain't even see it.
My bad.
I did see
we talking Instagram?
I did see Jeremiah Fizz. Jeremiah Fizz putting a lot of weight, man. Shout out to him and Trey Murphy putting in a lot of work this offseason. But I'll say the question was Zion and how it relates to Trey Murphy, how it relates to everybody. To me, it's always, well, if Zion is truly a 1, if Zion is truly a 1A, it almost don't matter who you put. Well, not almost don't matter, but the parts become interchangeable because he's so good. How do we evaluate Zion going into this season? Is it too far, him being a 1A, too far gone, or is it still something that's achievable in you guys' eyes?
Oof. I'm gonna let you go. I'm a Zion fan. I'm a little biased.
Loaded question. So my 2 questions is I'm gonna pose this to you guys, but here, let me give my answer for. I think it has a ceiling, but I think in the long term, you're not looking at Zion being the 1A anymore. I honestly do. I believe in Jeremiah Fizz so much. I think eventually he's gonna, take that leap. I'm thinking, like, I'm gonna be straight up. I think he could do 25, 7 and 7 in his prime, like efficiently, like 40%.
Oh yeah.
Like I believe so. Like just the determination, the work ethic, the zero fears thing, like all that, I believe in it so much. But I think for the now, with the supporting cast of potentially Trey, Dejounte, Jeremiah, DQ, you got all these guys. I think around that supporting cast, Zion could take this team to a top 6 seed for sure. The question I have for you guys, though, do we think part of the reason he had such a healthy campaign last year was because his usage rate was 8% lower than it was the year before and the lowest in his career?
I can't say too much, right? What I will say is people should go watch that interview with Chris, and I will say one of the biggest issues with Zion during his tenure with this particular medical staff had more to do, because remember, he had a very high usage under Stan Van Gundy. He played most of those games. He ended that season with a hand injury and the season was over. Of course, we know what happened in the 49 win season where he played X amount of games. But and even the rookie season, they were trying to reteach him how to walk. It was a lot of weird shit that went on and under the last regime. But I will say Zion's issues, mainly aside from nutritional issues, have been injury prevention, recovery, and diagnosis. And I think recovery and diagnosis, I think those were dropped based on, just conversations I've had behind the scenes, the conversations I've had with the performance. I just think organizationally, they just haven't done a good job with getting guys back on the court, and diagnosing injuries properly. Because I always say this, and I'm just talking about the injury part, not even the talent part. If it was just Zion, I could say, all right, it's this motherfucker. He's the problem. But it's like, Brandon, you go to Canada, now nothing's wrong. Now you're the healthiest I've ever seen you. CJ was here. He had a collapse. He played with. It was a freak accident. He played with a collapsed lung. Larry Nance couldn't really stay on the court. Herb Jones missed several games this season. It got to a point, and I can say this because this was under the last medical staff. It kind of just got to a point where guys just wasn't trusting the medical staff. Like no one was letting them. You're not injecting me with anything. I'm going to get a second opinion. That's been the issue.
Why you don't cheap out on the medical staff, Gail?
And thank God they didn't do that now. Shout out to Joe.
Bringing in some new people, man, because they absolutely needed to shift things and for guys to be in lockstep. Now Zion does have some onus on that himself, and needs to take. I'm sure he's taking accountability. He's publicly taking accountability for that himself. Yeah. But it's still like you can't. This is the Saints and the Pelicans, and that's what really made it an issue. That's one of the reasons why guys don't necessarily want to play here. It's like, Dr. Kevorkian in there, man, they're selling your organs.
Yeah. I personally think, as far as like the
hold on, Al, I'm sorry. Can y'all hear us? Let us know if y'all can hear us. Fisted Black said the audio cut out. Can y'all hear us?
Uh-oh.
Check. Can y'all hear us? Make sure everything good. Cause we in here cooking, man.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna try.
I don't know.
No.
I can hear you now.
All right, we good. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about this. Wanted to make sure. Elvin, go ahead, brother. My bad.
So yeah, I just think first when we talk about like Z and the medicals and all of that, I just think it was organizational failure from top down. I personally believe Z does have responsibility. That's first. Again, as a 19-year-old getting drafted into the league, you want to have people on your side. From day one, the organization came in, I said Zion was the best player. We're building around Zion and all of that. I think when you have a best player, Anthony, they came and said, hey, listen, it's on you, right? Even with Trey Young, when Trey Young got to Atlanta, it's like, no, this is Trey Young's team. It took till Joe Dumars got here to have the organization publicly come out and support Zion and say, hey, man, it's your team. We're going to move is how you move, right? So that's to me, that's the mental aspect of it. Not to mention all of the actual negligence from the medical standpoint that, again, if you listen to the interview and just do a little bit of research, again, not just Z, but them, I think they failed them in that standpoint. Now, since we pass all of that, as far as like Zion himself, the player, I don't. Last year to me made me believe that Z couldn't be a 1A, right? Not saying that he isn't a really good player. Not even saying that he's not a 1. I don't think Zion to be a championship. And no, listen, Z one of my favorite players, but like if you're trying to be a championship level player, I don't think Z can be your best player on the team, right? I think you have to complement them with a lot of like quality players. I agree with you like your assessment on Fizz, right? So I think if you look at this team moving forward, about Trey, right? I think Trey can't be a 2 if you're looking at being a championship level team. I think Trey got to be like your 4. Then like if Trey is your 4th player, then you really got an opportunity to do something. But as far as like the question, like does Zion's production this year depend on anything else? For me, no, because you got the medical with like you got your own guy with Chris. You finally got the organization believing you. You got a coach that you locked in with all summer. So at this point, I need you to come out and be the best version of yourself, because what most players do is, and again, it's not that Z hasn't been, even last year with what was a down year for Z, like he wasn't terrible. Like he still was 21, 5-4, 21-5-3, something like that, which is not a great year for him. But moving forward with a second year being healthy, back-to-back, a true offseason, all of the things he has going for him, I don't give a fuck who next to him. You need to come out and look like the Zion that we think you could be. I think the usage will be up. I think he'll be more prepared to sustain the usage. The main thing I would love for them just to get a center, just so we ain't playing Z at like the 5 type shit. Is if we get away from Z at the 5, then other than that, I'm completely so. I got Zion ceiling this year as like, I think he makes All-Star. I think he'll be there. I think we're gonna look at like 65 to 70 games, All-Star, and like I think at maximum he could be all like second team All NBA maximum. Like if Zion plays his best.
So
I'm sorry, I was supposed to shout out everybody, to make sure I hit the like button. They said we're having some connection issues, so let me know if things are fixed now. Shout out to everybody in the building. I know y'all going through that storm. I hope it's me and not y'all, because I don't nobody lose their Wi-Fi, their electricity.
Let me check me. Matter of fact, hold on, man.
But I will say this too. Shout out to the good people at UNO, man. When Zion was working in UNO in the offseason, he said allegedly he wants a big, as in he wants a center, and he know they need, and this is before Fizz, I believe, but they need added guard play, and he wants some dogs, like he wants people who can help him. Now, I will also say that Zion, you got to be a part of that equation too, because when you're the number 1 draft pick, when you're getting a lot of money, you the dog, like you're supposed to be the guy. But I also think we're entering a different era in basketball to where it's like. It's a sum of your parts type thing. I don't think 1As are taking you to the promised land anymore. I think Brunson is incredible, but I can name about 10 players that I think are better than Brunson. It doesn't matter if the team isn't there, if the coaching isn't there, if the leadership isn't there, if a guy like Brunson doesn't always rise to the occasion in the clutch. And I think we're entering that sum of your parts era of basketball. And I think he can be your best player, but I don't think 1A will be a thing moving forward.
So let me ask this then, Alvin. You said like Zion in your eyes is probably a 2, Trey in your best situation is a 4-3. My question is then, what are we doing this for? Like, what is the point in investing in a core around these two if the ceiling is a play-in team or top 5, like anywhere from 10 to 5? Like, what is the value other than putting butts in seats?
I think trade one, because you have to accumulate talent. Just because you don't have the guy now, that don't mean one that somebody might not turn into the guy, or you might find yourself in a situation to get the guy. And then when you, for example, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that we all think Jaylen Brown is a 1A kind of guy, right? If you were able to swing a deal, hypothetically, Dejounte Poole Herb, right, for a Jaylen Brown, and then Jaylen Brown comes in, and then you have Jaylen Brown, Zion, Trey, and Fizz. Right now, you're looking like, all right, we just put some complementary pieces around that, and then everything falls in line, which could be a realistic goal for you this summer or going into next summer. What you don't do is, hypothetically, let's say you go into next year and Anthony Edwards asks out, you're not even a team that he would consider because you gave up Trey, you moved Zion, and now you're sitting there asking Anthony Edwards to come to your team for Fizz and Queen when something like that is available for you. So also we're assuming, because we haven't seen them compete at a high, I would say complete like in the playoffs, but there are stretches that like Zion as the best player, Trey, Brandon out, CJ was in at the time, and just like decent, because I think Willie Green is better than James Borrego. Fuck that. I'm willing to go out on the limb and say
one of them has made the playoffs twice.
Yeah, like multiple times, took 2 games off of 1 seed. Willie Green was down to what did he start that season, his rookie season off with no coaching experience, was 2-12, made the play in. He does have a 42 and a 49 win. Like, Willie Green is better than James Borrego. Like, at this point, I'm convinced in saying that, right? Willie Green had stretches with that particular roster. And the West, I don't know, the West has always been competitive, right? You can't really say there's ever been a time where the West wasn't competitive. They were the 1 seed. They were beating some of the top teams in the league, some of those stretches. I just think Willie Green's limitations as a coach didn't allow them to maximize, and David Griffin's misses in the draft and bringing in, like, his misses in the draft and them being able to maximize that talent. Also not taking like a true swing for make a move, but not really make the move to say, let's go really be good, right? I think you have to look at those things. But as far as like Z and Trey and like what they're capable of, I think if you build it right, I think we've seen them compete with some of the time. Again, today they compete with the Spurs that we just saw in the finals, as is, with no true roster things. They beat Minnesota. They can beat a lot of the relatively good teams in the league, or they can compete with those teams, and it's a shit show. So I just think if you surround them, continue to build, Fizz develops, Queen gives you something, you get a true center, I think you got an option.
Fair.
I think because really we're mainly talking about the regular season. To Elvin's point, I think you get like David Griffin. I mean, some of these guys that you drafted, some are literally out of the league right now. Some of your biggest free agent or trade acquisitions are out of the league.
Kira Lewis.
And these were like younger guys that were out of the league. Derek Favors was a little bit older, but Derek Favors, Daniel Tice was starting at center for you. Jordan
Hypothetical question for y'all right now. If we got, let's say the Pelicans made the play-in next season, right? And they got in as
if they make the play-in, I'm booking the trip. I'm finally making the trip down.
Well, let's say they get into the playoffs as the 7th seed, right? And they got to play Minnesota as the 2 seed.
I'm sleeping on Alvin's couch.
Who you think winning that series?
Say again, if they play Minnesota at the
Let's
7th seed.
say
I think playoff basketball is really different, but I think they match up well against Minnesota.
They take 2 games.
I think honestly, I think they would have took 2 games versus Spurs this season. But I'll also say, I think the issue with the Pelicans to me has always been when they've had their most success, they didn't have a bunch of fringe NBA players. And I think as like Dejounte gets injured, Brandon leaves, because people like Trey, the crazy thing is Trey is CJ's replacement, and he was supposed to ascend to Brandon's replacement. Dejounte was supposed to be Brandon's replacement in the intermediate. Like, well, because Brandon got traded during the season, so we thought Dejounte was gonna come in and kind of be the guy he was in Atlanta. Of course, he gets hurt and it doesn't work out. In this season, he served again, and Trey doesn't ascend to that level. Zion has the lowest career usage. You know how the story ends. I think again, if the Pelicans could put out a roster with some real NBA players, like actual NBA players, I think it's significantly different. Like even the wins, like to me, some of these games had no business being competitive. That's why to me it's all about matchups. Like me and El was talking about, we got a partner, shout out to IC. And, he's a Wemby person, and me, I am not a Wemby person. I think Wemby is grossly overrated. Right? And my whole thing was like, nah, it's just about matchups, man. It's like, they're taller and stronger than OKC, and OKC's injured. And even then,
7 games.
Every game is a dogfight, and you're barely eking out wins. Like the OKC has to make a ton of mistakes for you to win, and they're injured. Same thing with the Knicks. The Knicks are spotting you 10, 20 points every night, and you still can't get it done because matchups, styles make fights. If you're the Pelicans and you find yourself in a situation to where, like, I don't know, again, maybe Franz Wagner gets hurt. Maybe the door's open. Maybe you mount a comeback and you say, wait a minute, we can really play with these guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or if you're the Raptors, you say, man, this team is soft. Like, Cavs are soft. We can play with these guys. Like, so many circumstances changed the outcomes of the postseason. For me, with the Pelicans, they got to do things consistently during the regular season. Zion, especially, because I do believe he can be your best player. When I talk about 1A, I meant like most of the postseason. But I do think he can be your best player in the regular season if you round out the rest of the roster. You can't have the worst center rotation. You can't have 0 3-point shooting. You can't, like, so many things. So where it's just like the reason some of these role players excel somewhere. It's funny because Josh Hart had a comment today. He was like, well, if I'm your second or third best player, it's going to be a bad team. But if I'm fourth, you might be all right. No, you're like sixth. He's like the sixth option on that team.
Yeah.
Jose might not.
But he's the X factor. When he's hitting those threes.
Like, he's a rebounder. Like, he's an X factor. He contributes. But I'm saying as far as like.
For sure. On the pecking order, yeah.
With the Pelicans, they've been so shallow at the top. For so long, especially due to injuries. It's like, no, I need you to be a contributor.
I need Jose to be.
Yeah, I need Jose to be.
Jose was saving the game.
Yeah, like I need, like, Jose, you have to be a 6 man every night. I'm sorry. Like, and
that's
the
an indictment to Zion. Like, that is an indictment to your best players, but that's also an indictment to the rest of the roster.
Yeah, it's an indictment to the rest of the roster as well. As far as like even like with Zion, or just with anybody, like with any roster, it's like, bro, if I sit down, if Zion sits down and you just can't score for 7-8 minutes in a row, it's like, damn, like, what do we do here? And I think too, even last year, it was like major stretches of that. And I'm not going to say these players' names, but we did the lives last year. I was doing the live watch alongs, and there were 2 players that when they checked into the game, I'm not going to say their names, but it was 2 players when they checked into the game. I don't give a fuck if the Pelicans had a 50-point lead. it was like, all right, it's over. They just checked into the game. The Pelicans about to blow this lead. And it happened every single time. Like it was like clockwork, bro. That's why I think if you just round out a piece here, a piece there, add a quality guy here, quality guy there, I think it would look a lot different. Increase
floor spacers and a big.
Yeah,
let me ask y'all this.
All you need. Yep.
Would y'all do Dejounte and Herb for Ja?
To get off that money, yeah. If I could get off Herb's contract, yeah.
I would do it, but the Pelicans wouldn't.
No, because I think they want more. I think they see each individual asset as bringing back more, and Ja's a little bit of an unknown. But I just wondered if, like, as much as you want to get off, I know how much Chaz wants to get off Dejounte and Herb contract. Like, I wonder if you would package both of them, or would you also have the mindset of being like, I could probably do Cam Johnson and something for, like, if those were your options, it's like, all right, look, you right now you got Dejounte and Herb for Ja, which again, Ja's an unknown. You don't know what's gonna happen with Ja right now, right? You taking a swing, or you like go into the season with Dejounte and you got to see what you could do for Herb. What would you choose?
I'll say this: I put these things in tiers, right? I got who matters, who kind of matters, who matters a little bit, and it don't matter at all, right? I think with the last 2 seasons, of course, it's because of injury, Herb and Dejounte haven't mattered at all. Like, because they haven't been available, and when they have been available, it's been a mixed bag. So, and I don't think
so. Herb is the reason we win games.
Yeah, motherfuckers lie, don't care who tell it. So I'm like, well, whatever. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. So I think, again, looking at some of these rosters that you're competing against on a nightly basis, you're not far away from being a quality regular season team. Because that's the goal right now, getting to the postseason. Once you get to the postseason, you look around and say, oh, shit. Like, let's be real here. Franz Wagner doesn't get hurt. Paolo doesn't lose his mind and start launching fucking threes.
Pistons going home, baby. 6 games
early, and that would have been
6 games,
and that would have changed everything because JB Bickerstaff's extension was immediately announced after that. That changes the entire narrative of the season. Now you look like the Dallas Mavericks losing to the Golden State Warriors back.
Now you got to decide on Duren too, because
now you got to excuse me. Now you got to look at everything and say, all right, well, damn, we need to add more talent. Even right now, like people on Trajan's ass, like, yo, why you ain't add more talent? We could have did something this year. Complacency, right?
That was their year. They could have easily, I guarantee you, they could have easily got MPJ.
The fact that them losing, this has been the Pelicans' problem as well.
Yep.
The fact that losing Duncan Robinson in the postseason had that much of an effect on how that series ended, that showed how little margin for error that team really had when it boiled down to it. The fact, and no disrespect, shout out to Tobias Harris. The fact that Tobias Harris was arguably the second best player versus the Cavs, and you like, damn, we hope Tobias comes through tonight. Like, what? Like, that's how little margin for error you have. And I think that's why I think this league right now, some of your parts. Like, you gotta bring in real NBA guys to compete.
I want to say, gentlemen, it is getting to my time.
Oh yeah. We about to wrap up, man.
Oh,
Chris, we appreciate you. No, it's cool. It's cool, bro.
Yeah. I gotta shift at 6 tomorrow, so I gotta be up at it early. So
appreciate you for coming through,
Chris. Tell the people they can find you at, bro.
Yeah, so just check me out, Pelican Debrief on Google, Chrome, whatever you use, and then Chris Lambert NBA on Twitter. Hit me with a follow. Chop it up about Pelicans or draft stuff whenever you want. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me, though. It's been a blast. This was a great time. We gotta do this again, man. You guys let me know. I can't do the draft. I gotta produce. I'm producing a radio show that night.
Awesome.
So I can't. I can't do the draft, but post draft reactions. I know Cullen too kind of wanted to get in on that, so maybe we do something little fatal 4-way or something. But yeah, it's been a blast. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and I guess let's hope Dejounte gets traded.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Be cool. Man, shout out to Chris Lambert. Make sure y'all go follow him and tap in with him on the Pelicans debrief. While you're in the building, make sure you hit that like button. We gonna take a quick break and come back and answer some of these starred questions because y'all been sending in some great questions. Keep sending them in.
You're telling me how to win the league when you had the second worst record, bro? That's because we ain't had no big game.
That's crazy. Shout out to the young bull. Shout out to Jeremiah Fizz.
If y'all ain't seen the picture, man, go check out Fizz video on that the Pelicans just posted right now, bro. Dude putting that work.
Yeah, bro, Diesel right now, bro. Bro, looking like he looking like Colin Sexton right now. He looking like a light skinned Colin Sexton.
He looked like you know what he looked like. He looked like he said when he got drafted, I want to be the number 2 point guard when I'm done. And I don't know if he'll reach it, but it ain't gonna be because he ain't trying to put in the work. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. You do all you can do. And if
that's a home run pick, bro. That's a home run pick.
Again, I like to refer to when we talking about Fizz when he did that road tripping podcast and he came in this. They asked him what do you want to work on most going from year 1 to year 2? That fucking dude said leadership. That dude said leadership. Man, I want to be able to close games. I want my team to be able to depend on me. I want to be able to, that's what you first off. That's what you want from your point guard, and 2, your game got to take a step to be able to get to that level. And you saw toward he finished the season with a ton of confidence, bro. Yeah, carrying that into that dude putting in like now you Sham God on your side also to kind of refine and maybe give you some tools that you ain't know you had or not ain't know you had, like add more to your game, maybe make it even easier for you, bro.
Dude, he's looking to have a really good sophomore year, man. I hope it comes to fruition. I would be comfortable with him even spot starting next year. I think there's no way you keep that dude off the floor.
Well, I think if that dude touched the starting lineup, that shit over.
I say that only because I'm like, I know they're not gonna start him because of the Dejounte shit. And I want to say this about leadership too, like real quick. Pelicans have had a bunch of fake leaders over the years. Like David Griffin in one season named Brandon, Herb Jones, and Dejounte each the leader of the team 3 different times. Man, fuck all that. The cream gonna rise to the top. Pause. Like and if you not cold or if you not available, nobody care what you got to say. You might be a cool, encouraging guy, but nobody gives a fuck about that.
I will say this. I've seen Z, like if you go back when Z got hurt when they made the postseason against OKC.
Yeah.
Remember when Brandon was struggling? You saw Z on the sideline kind of trying to motivate him and coach him up. And you could just tell that like that season he felt a little more passionate. Bro, he was passionate about what was going on during the season when Brandon was out, right? Like it was more on his shoulders. And you saw him just being, again, even in the Laker game, right? They lost that first game to the Lakers when Brandon came, and then he had that will to win that refused to lose, and he gave you one of the better, performances that he's put on.
Yeah,
I just think with Z moving forward, though, as long as these, it can't come down to this. Mentally, he got to lose his mind and be on some similar to what we talk about. He got to be on something. I don't give a fuck what nobody got going on. I'm about to be a dog. Like Fizz, you could tell got some of that. Okay, we all got a hoop, but I'm gonna go be a motherfucking dog. If those 2 dudes could do that, I think you got an opportunity. I think you got a true opportunity.
I think that's why. Excuse me. I think it's one of the things you hope that Jamal Mosley could really help maximize. For me, I think if you haven't seen it yet, you may not see it because some people are just not wired that way necessarily. Like some people just selfless people. I think Zion's a bit of a selfless guy. Of course, does a ton of charity shit on the court. He's pretty selfless. But I think when it's winning time, you gotta be able to rise to the occasion. I think he's done it at times. But
we've seen Z when again, and I don't know who, because you know what used to happen when Brandon used to go out, Willie Green used to be like, here you go, Zion, go do whatever it is you want to do, right?
Yeah. But to me, Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you saw Z, because that, again, that's how they ended up in that 1 seed that time. Yeah. Z was just going crazy. And then even in the 49 win season, towards the end of that season, when Z and Trey and CJ was going on their run, they made it all the way up to the 4th seed for, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for a stretch
point
before.
Of time, yeah.
Yeah. So you see Zion, when in the right situation, get his mind right and come into games like, oh, I'm the best player out here. I feel good. And again, heard him say coming, even I think it was this season, like, oh, when I feel like Zion, can't nobody touch me, basically. So I just hope all of the stuff that's going on in the offseason, everything that he's working on is going to also manifest mentally, where he can be that person that we see for like certain small segments manifest throughout a season.
I think, man, shout out to Chris again, and Coach Mosley and Sham Guy. I know they all putting in work with Zion, and I hope they could help make that a more consistent thing. I think, but you know, that's the thing. It's just like, bro, it don't matter when you feel like it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You need to. It got to be a consistent thing. It got to be in you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Luka be out there looking like a bag of potato salad, but he always the guy.
35, 8, and 8.
Like, so for Zion, it's like the best version of yourself can't be circumstantial, because at this point, people have waited so long. The deliverables haven't been there consistently, and now we're in an iteration of this team, so it's like, all right, look, bro, you know, you're gonna have to do a little bit more heavy lifting, because we haven't rounded it out just yet, because we inherited a bit of a mess to clean up. But I believe that things are gonna turn around this season. He got a good team with people he's working with. Joe believes in him, and that matters a lot to have front office and coaches believe in you. That has
let me ask you this. I didn't even think about this until you said that just now. We obviously knew that Joe was gonna get Zion a coach and stuff like that, right? But you remember when Joe first got here, Zion was just truly locked in with Joe, right? They were spending time that was going, you know, talking. You see them at Summer League, they were sitting together at Summer League and all of that. Bruh, do you think Zion gave Joe his version of a wish list?
I don't know.
It don't have to be right now, but just like in general.
I think from what I was told, he mentioned that he said he wanted a big, he wanted some increased guard play, and he wanted some dogs on the roster. I don't think Zion is necessarily the type to volunteer his opinion, but I do believe Joe might have asked him, like, yo, what do you think you need to be successful? Right? Just from a standard business practice, I think he would have asked him that, like, because you're going to talk to your best player. And, you know, I know the emphasis has really been put on, like, yo, I need a center. Like, you know, help me out here. And Jeremiah Fizz seems to feel the same way.
Let me to piggyback off what you're saying, and I'm throwing this back to you, but like, so listen, I'm gonna get you a coach. Don't trip. Like, we gotta ride the season out. I'm gonna get you the coach. They finally got a coach, right? Because I know Zion. I know Zion didn't like the idea of playing for Willie Green and James Borrego. Just their their temperament, personalities don't really fit Zion.
I'm gonna say this, and I can't say too much about this, but I'll say this. I think the players, when they got Borrego, thought they were getting something else.
I agree with that.
And when they got Borrego, it was like, oh wait, this is more of the same. So I think the players, and look, man, again, without saying too much, shout out to Trey Murphy and them, like, man, Borrego was a disaster, bro. Borrego and Willie Green were disasters. And that's what makes it so difficult to evaluate some of the guys, because you're like, damn, you know, you were put in a shitty situation, and I guess you did the best you could given what you had to work with. But I think the players thought, without saying too much, I think the players thought they were getting something else when they got Borrego. I don't know if Zion really had any input on the coach. That's just not Borrego. That's not Zion.
Not the coach specifically, but just like,
be cool. I'm gonna get you another coach.
Yeah. Like, listen. if he asks, let's say they're talking, they just
Right.
they just rapping, right? Because again, he was like, you could talk to Joe. That's what he said. Like, you could talk to Joe. Hey, bro, what's these last couple years been like? What you been going through?
Right.
We know from the league office, but not what's really going on.
Right.
I said, bro, Willie can't coach.
Right.
Like, he just can't coach. Brandon said it in the interview. We winning these games off talent. All right, well, I'm gonna see what's up. I think JB might have a little something about him. I don't know. Maybe we got something there. All right, we're gonna give him an opportunity, right? Don't worry, Z. I know how you feel about coaching, because Z is I don't want to use the word tough love, but like, he needs structure around.
Yeah,
like he needs
structure. Yeah,
a
rigid system.
A rigid system.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, all right, look, don't trip. We'll get you that. Boom, check mark. If he did say we want guard play, ooh, I got the perfect person, right? They draft Jeremiah Fizz. It might take him a little bit of time, but they did say, hey, we believe in you. You're gonna be here anyway, right? You just need to do your part. Jeremiah develops. We got high promise for Jeremiah Fizz. Maybe they drafted Queen, not necessarily as the big, but like, maybe they thought Queen was going to be a certain type of big that will be able to help more, and that wasn't the thing. And then now maybe the emphasis now is like, all right, no, now we really need to go get a real
big.
Yeah, and I think if that's the priority, you'll start seeing the Zion checklist to a degree.
Oh, and L froze. I think you froze, L. No, you good. You good. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just about to say, I just think Z, like all of the things that Z wanted, I think Joe's treating him like a franchise player, even if they're not saying it, treating him like a franchise player and trying to do those things. And I think all of that should lead to like the best version of, not the best version, but an improved version of what we expect for this season.
And I hope you're right, man. Again, I think you and myself, I think we're just going into the season giving everyone a clean slate. I think too many people are kind of bitter from the prior regime and some of the carryover and maybe even last season. But I think we just going into the situation giving everyone a clean slate. If it works out, cool. If it don't work out, then we're gonna be objective and talk about it. Shout out to Young Illuminati. Zion came from Duke. Coach K guy. He needs that type of coach that doesn't take issue from his players. Hey, even again, I told you about Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was another guy. He's like allegedly felt like the organization and the coaching staff specifically didn't have any structure, and those guys kind of found it a little more difficult to find their footing. But shout out to everybody in the building, man. Excuse me. Got 100 people in the building. We're gonna get to these star questions, and man, we're gonna get out of here. Appreciate all y'all rocking with us. It was a great show. It was an excellent show. That was a dope show. 504 boy with the nickel. We appreciate you, big dog. Michael Morgan with the 5-piece. Appreciate you always, brother. Nando, what's the deal? He said, yo, Cheddar, what we thinking? Ja coming home?
We landed somebody, though. We landed somebody.
I think we landed somebody, but I have a strong inclination that it ain't Ja. And I'll just say that. I fucks with Ja. I like Ja. And I think Ja would love to play in New Orleans. I just think that situation, people know more than we know. And I think, I'll just say that. Michael Morgan, appreciate the content always. We appreciate you, big dog. I got one for you right here, L. Say, in your opinion, who has the most trade value outside of Zion? I think it's really Trey, right? But who would you say outside of that?
Outside of Trey? Oof.
Probably gotta be heard.
That like true value, like actually tradable, because I'm sure Fizz and Queen got amazing value,
probably,
but they're not available. You know who it really is? I think we could possibly get some Eves. I think you could probably get something for Eves right now.
I think you get second. I don't know if you get a protected first for him.
You don't think?
I think if they could get one, they probably would have traded him by now.
You think so?
Yeah, unfortunately, because I like Eve. I think Eve gonna shock the world a little bit, but I think if they could have got a protected first for him,
okay,
I think they might have moved them by now.
No, I think Herb got some value too, but I think Herb
Yeah.
value is gonna come just from like everybody failed on what they really wanted to do, so we'll settle for Herb.
Now that's another thing. After this, and shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. We almost at 100 likes. Let's cross the threshold. Once the Giannis shit happens, everybody that missed out on Giannis, everybody that missed out on whatever happens with Trey Young, and all these guys, they're gonna start looking around. Like Trey Murphy, people already looking, but everybody like, I need a point guard. I want Ja. Like hypothetically speaking, if you want Ja, you can't get him. Like, I fuck. What other point guards they got around here?
Yep.
Colin Sexton, Dejounte Murray. I want Dejounte. Like that's when, and I think in this last part right here, remember when Kevin Durant was traded, that trade was expanded to like like 4 or 5 teams. I think this year we're gonna see like some major expansions this offseason on these trades, bro. Like I really do. But go
I
ahead,
don't think
bro.
Phoenix. No, I just think like quick. I don't think Phoenix can afford how we can't afford to go into the season without a center. I don't think Phoenix can afford to go into the season without a point guard. Like they need a point guard for sure.
Shout out to Joe too. He say, would y'all want the Pels to trade for Ja Khalil Ware?
You know,
in this situation, my preference would probably be Khalil. Now I don't know how they feel about Khalil. They might not like him, but
which would be insane.
But I would say Khalil. I think he's more in position to need. Look, the person who I got over both of them is Kyrie, honestly, because I think Kyrie just a motherfucking.
You know what was interesting about Kyrie?
Guy to me, bro.
No, you know what was crazy? Kyrie tore the ACL and he sat out a full season. Well, season and a half. Well, not a half, but he got hurt during the previous season, but sat out a full season. Ain't nobody questioning what he gonna come back and look like.
Yeah,
whether
that's the thing. Like
he in his 30s, don't nobody care about nothing.
Because his style of play just so like it's funny. People, especially like black people like, man, Kyrie gotta give the basketball. Like people love Kyrie's game, and that's the crazy part. Yo, we almost at 100 likes, man. 6 more likes, and we're gonna hit 100 likes, man. Let's get that 100 likes. Shout out to everybody in the building.
You want to hear something crazy?
Go ahead.
Kyrie only like ever since Kyrie hasn't played like close to 70 games in a long time, though. Like the last time, the most games he played in the last, I don't know, like 8 years, he played 67 games with the Celtics.
Really? See, and that's the thing. If you got Fizz, you really only need Kyrie to play about 60, 58 of them bitches. Because he's like, I got Fizz.
That's where he at. He played. That's where he at.
Honestly, I think with older prospects, I think that's why with some people, I know some people say that the game is too long, not necessarily it's too many games. It's gonna be hard to see dudes as they get older and running up and down that court, hitting them 70 game thresholds.
That's why you see Steph wearing down like that at that age.
And his game not physical at all, and he wearing down like it's just gonna be tough, though. Shout out to Nando. Say, what y'all think about rebuilding some of these distressed assets, Dejounte and Poole specifically? What do you think, Al?
I understand going into the season with him to try and rebuild some of the value. Poole, no, I really think Poole more than anybody that people are down on, I think is going to have a good season. You know what I mean? I don't think JP is going to look anything like he did this season. And that's not to say that he's going to be great, but how people are saying, hey, we need somebody to like, I think he can be in that 6 man of the year competition throughout the season. I really believe that he's going to be that. And I think that partially is why we're going to have a little bit more success than people think, because people count Poole out like the dude can't play. It's never about if he could play or not. The motherfucker was cold. He just didn't have a right opportunity. Yeah, like even in Washington, like they were starting him and then they were trying to lose, so then they would start him and then bench him, and then it was just a hell of a situation. And then his first year in Washington was in Draymond situation. You know what I mean? So like when he found his footing, and I think he can possibly find some footing here in this particular role this season. And on top of that, he playing for the money.
I was about to say,
playing for the money.
Dejounte and Poole and Zion got the master motivators.
Money, dog.
Playing for the money, bro.
Yeah, bro. You playing for them extensions.
Shout out to Mr. Hennessy Rob. He said, why people keep saying bring in Unicorn? He talking about Kristaps Porzingis. Say that dude got an illness, only seeing on X-Files. I don't know what the fuck going on with KP though. Like, I hope he's okay. But like, I know if, like, for example, if the Warriors, if they can't bring back KP, or it just don't. The Warriors to me got less avenues to get better than the Pelicans, and because you got two of your main trade assets with fucking torn ACLs. KP is sick, so it's just I don't even fucking know. George said, do y'all think any Pacers trade would be fair to the Pelicans? I think they really want Trey Murphy. I don't really like many. I like their assets in a vacuum, but I think Trey would be the best. I don't want to give up the best player in that trade. And I don't think their picks are going to be that valuable either. So, I don't like none of that.
I'll be honest. I need Pascal. Like, I need Pascal, dog. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not of the mindset of just like trade and not like, again, with Detroit, I need a Soar, and then on top of that, Houston, I need Ament, and then on top of that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just bro. Trey averaged 21 last season, 21, 5 and 4, like shot 38% from 3 on like 8 or 9 attempts, bro. Like, I'm not just
you got all stars that average them same numbers. If the Pelicans were good last year,
yes, bro,
Trey would have got his all-star consideration, and that's how like that's how being a good team just changes everyone's opinion of you. Shout out to Slim South said, will we move on from Herb? I think you have to, bro. I think you can't come back with Herb and Hawkins on the roster, dog, because you need roster spots and you need talent. You got to upgrade the shooting and center position. You got to get some real NBA players. You got whoever you draft, if you draft someone, Trey, Peavy, McGowan's, Herb, it's just too redundant. And the inflation on that contract is just crazy right now versus the production. That's my opinion.
I gotta buy, not bias, but like, I know we biased to moving Herb. What do you put any stock in?
Shout out to
Jamal? Well, what's good, bro? You put any stock in Jamal Mosley, the defensive coach? Herb is absolutely gonna be on this team.
Not really, no.
Oh, okay. I just wanted,
because I don't want to overly criticize Jamal Mosley, but it's like you haven't really won your way. Got to the postseason in the East. You was in the play-in last year, but I don't think. I mean, I think if there's no one better out there, but it's like that's why I got Peavy and McGowan and other guys. Like, it's a very replaceable guy, and I'm not gonna fuck off my salary cap sheet to appease you to that level. Like, I don't because if that's the case, if you like, I ain't go get me that's to say Mitchell Robinson. It's like, coach, we can't get him. I'm sure he would like Mitchell Robinson. It was like, we can't get him. Like, oh, that would cripple us. We can't. Sure, there's players who want certain players to play with him, and they like can't do that. How the fuck we gonna do? Like, how we gonna do that?
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, sounds great. Why stop there? Like, like I don't know if they I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they would necessarily do that. I think if Herb comes back, it may not have just been a good avenue to move him, or there is a possibility you overplay your hand. You could overplay your hand and think you can extract more value than what's actually out there for something. Because we've seen that happen. You don't want to miss out on an opportunity because you got greedy. Like, it's different when it's trade and somebody's trying to buy from you. But if you trying to, like, if again, bro, if Denver come to you and say, here's 26 and Cam, like, but we need it right now. I think you gotta do it.
I think you gotta, I don't think you wait for, like, if they called you today, I don't think you say, let me wait on the Giannis deal.
Nah, not at that point, because whoever at 26, that was like whoever the fuck there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think nobody gonna say I missed out on Giannis, so let me get Herb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you throw Herb in as a sweetener, and you could take a guy that somebody else don't want back. Like, if there was like a weird way to get what's his name, Tyler Hero back for Herb, is this something weird like that? You probably would do it, but I don't see an avenue to do that. I would fucking do that. I like Tyler Hero. But shout out to everybody in the building.
So interesting, though.
It is, though. I wish people would see some trades. Shout out to E-Dog. I really wish people would have saw some trades. Dark Knight, shout out to your homie. He said, I would like us to go after Giddey. Josh Giddey? I like Josh Giddey, dog. I ain't gonna lie. I think Josh Giddey is cold, but I don't know if Josh Giddey checks all the boxes for the team. I think he's cold. I think he would be available, but I think they're gonna at least want a first for Josh. Because Josh ain't no bad deal.
I like Josh, don't get me wrong, but again, I don't think Josh is Dejounte. I don't think he's far, like, I don't think he's too far away from Fizz to where, like, because I don't want Josh, like, unless we putting Josh in like the Herb spot.
But see,
you know what I mean?
I kind of view Josh as like a utility player more. Like, I kind of view Josh as like Anthony Black. So like, you can control, you can handle the ball, but you kind of just can play 1 through 3.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, kind of like, okay, what's the, like, what are we doing now? Like, did we send out Herb for Josh to where it's like, all right, now
I would imagine if you getting Josh back, you got to be sending out Poole or Dejounte.
Again, so I just need to know, like,
imagine.
I need to see what it
Josh
look like to
Josh Giddey will be throwing some motherfucking lives, hitting some rebounding, hitting some big shots. He just can't really defend. Like, he can't. I mean, Josh Giddey cold, son. I ain't gonna lie. And he plays.
I like Josh. And he tall.
Yeah, and he tall. Like, Josh Giddey would be nice. Yo, shout out to my dog Michael Morgan back in the building. Say with the 5 piece, they keep the positive energy going, fella. Yeah, man, it's all positive vibes. So I think we both enter in the offseason with optimism and giving everybody a clean slate, because it's not fair to hold the current regime to blame them for the sins of the prior regime. They already making a bunch of changes, hiring analytics people, changing the medical staff, bringing in name brand coaches. And man, this ain't, you shopping at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? You ain't shopping at Save a Lot right now. So, hopefully it continues to trend in that direction. Hold on, my bad. Wrong one. You see, shout out to Cole, the homie Cole. He say, y'all like Nate Ament. I think his film looks good. What's your thoughts on Nate Ament? Because I don't think I got to really hear your position on Nate Ament.
Nate Ament is a lesser BI to me. Everything I think, like, he might. I can't even say he's like better defensively than BI, because if you remember, like, there was times where BI, when he was like healthy, was playing like the 5 and defending, you know what I mean? Like, could really defend and do some rim protection stuff. Not to a KD level, but he could do a little bit of those. Like, dog, we said we want.
I'm sorry.
BI Cole, yeah, dog.
I was about to say, to be fair, that would be like in year 7. Year 6, year 7.
Yeah.
So when BI came to the league, he was a better college player, but he was a bit of a project himself.
He was.
Just in the interest, I say that just to be fair, because he was the number 2 pick, and we don't know where Nate Ament could get picked.
And that's my point. I think he's a lesser BI, and you see what it took for BI to be what he became. And BI, once he figured it out and on his second team and all of that, like, became an all-star level player. Say what you want, he did make an all-star, 1-6, what was it? Most improved. Did some really good things in his career. Now was a 2-time all-star. Now I know some people got some high ceilings for Nate Ament. I just don't know if I believe Nate Ament like I don't want another version of BI right now. I don't think this team needs another version of BI.
I gotta look some more, but I don't know if I see the BI comp necessarily. I think the BI comp comes because he's so slow. But I think
you watch him shoot. It's where he gets, for me, is where he gets. He doesn't have a great handle. Where he gets his shots from, he shoots. He a lot of his shots are like he's tall, right? So he
6'10",
over the top of you, mid range, post fades, like. he operates a lot in the there's a lot in the mid-range, like some tough contested tools, and then he struggles with the physicality. Now, again, do I think he can improve? Yeah, but like, think about like, how is he gonna perform against Blue Dort, Dylan Harper, physically?
Oh, you saying like years from now? Like
no, shit. If he play, you got to see Dylan Harper right now.
Well, I mean,
you got to see
like,
Blue Dort right now.
I think depending on what you give up for him, like hypothetically speaking, let's say if you could get like pick 16 for her, hypothetically speaking, it's like, I'm trying to see where he
get him at 16. I ain't tripping. That's
that's the thing. Yeah, because I don't think you about to. Right, yeah. I don't think you can get to 6 where I think he's projected to go.
Okay, so, yeah, no. These are other assumptions. He's like
top 10.
You trade. Yeah.
To me, I think again depends on where you get him. Like I saw some people have a Noah comp. I think it's Noah Isenge comp.
Yeah.
You're seeing a bunch of those rangy big wings, Usman Zhang type guys. I think
didn't pan out for a lot of them.
Yeah, it didn't pan out for quite a few of them. I think it depends. It's like I think with guys like that, my concern more so is their floor. Like, to me, if Brandon's ceiling was like a better version of DeMar DeRozan, but he landed somewhere like a little below that. Like, he's probably a version of Chris Middleton. Like, that's why I think Brandon's like the peak he reached. So like, I'm like, because you were picked second, that looks bad. Now with Nate Ament, I never even heard no super fire comparisons. Like, motherfucker ain't like coming out and say you the next Kevin Durant. So
somebody say he got like Chris Middleton in his game.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. Chris Middleton's very slow, methodical, big shot maker. So to me, depending on where I think his floor is at. If he could become a very solid 3-and-D type guy, to me, I'm comfortable with him at 15. The jumpers don't seem to be there right now, though.
If Nate Ament and Cam Carr are there at 15, I'm taking Cam Carr.
If Nate Ament and Cam Carr at 15, even with the size advantage,
I'm taking Cam Carr. I believe more in
I still Cam have Carr. Not watched Cam Carr. I got to check him out.
I believe more in Cam Carr's, like, and again, both of them athletic or whatever, but like Ace Bailey super light.
Now I'll say this too. I will say this too about Nate Ament.
Dog, bro.
I'll say this too about Nate Ament. What I do know is that, for one, his frame, he can put on a lot of weight. That's a good thing. For two, he had a window where he was dropping like 23, 25, 27. Like, and then he had an ankle injury, came back. I think he got into the Elite 8 and they ran into Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. But he had some ups and downs early. But the thing is, he was such a prospect coming out of high school that you kind of like, well, the pedigree must be there somewhere. It's about, you have to find something you're good at. The problem to me, and I kind of have this problem with DQ as well, like, you can't be 6'9", 6'10", and be a poor finisher at the rim.
Yes.
And he don't look the yam on motherfuckers. Like, he don't look like a great athlete. So I can see the comparison there as well, where it's just like, damn, you don't. When you at the rim, is all finesse. You taller than everybody, but you not look. At least Trey looking the yam on the motherfucker. Like, you not looking to yam. So, I don't know.
Ace, bro, when Ace barely go to the rim, you better get the fuck out the way. Like
the thing with Ace too is that, like, Ace had an argument at one point last offseason to be the number 2 pick before Dylan just shut the door on that. But it's like anybody compared to Brandon Ingram coming out of college is a major red flag. But Ace was compared to Brandon Ingram, so I think for me, I was kind of I don't know, but it's I don't know, son. I gotta check Nate out a little bit more.
Check Cam Carr out.
I gotta check Cam Carr.
Listen, I know we ain't got no pick. Cam Court, like I know people don't
But
put like a lot of
we just love basketball though, so we gonna watch it anyway.
No, listen, a lot of people don't and listen, I had to go like watch again because I watched the highlights. I had to go watch a couple of like games, right?
Yeah.
You know, I like to watch the game film and see how you read in the game and all of that.
Right.
Cam Court, dog, bro. And if you remember, he was one of the few like lottery pick that actually played in the combine, gave him the quick 30 piece, looked athletic, shooting the ball well, just like I'm better than everybody. All right, I'm good. I think he got like a 41-inch vertical or something like that,
See,
bro.
I'm a fan of athletes. I like super athletic players.
Dog,
One thing I'll say,
his athleticism, you know how VJ athleticism jump off the screen? His athleticism jumps off the screen, bro.
And I ain't gonna lie, I gotta go look at Nate's agility stuff and how he scored, because watching him in the game, I'm like, it is not jumping. I don't see it. But fuck, people seeing him play more than me, so I don't know. And look, one thing I will say about Troy Weaver, shout out to Breeze. We're gonna end on this one, right? Troy Weaver Breeze say Troy doesn't have an eye for talent. When making trades, he wanted Poole and thought it was a good idea to sign Kevon Looney. Now here's the thing. Jordan Poole was coming off a really good year in Washington. He's also a distressed asset because what else was you getting for CJ McCollum? And also Kevon Looney was one of the best rim defending bigs that offseason. Like on the market, probably the best center on the market that year might have been Kevon or Shaden Sharp. I'm not Shaden Sharp, Darren Sharp. It wasn't a rich center market, to be real.
Also with Kevon Looney, they knew they needed rebounding. Kevon Looney has historically been known as a really good rebounder.
Right.
He just didn't play also.
Out.
Yeah, and he didn't play. Like,
he didn't.
I'm not saying he was great, but he
just didn't play. So it's like the line of thinking. That's like if fucking JJ Redick still played and he was a free agent and you signed JJ Redick. In your mind, you like, oh, he should shoot. He should shoot well. He's a shooter. And he just come and can't shoot. Or like when Jimmy Fredette was drafted, it's like Jimmy can't shoot. That's all he ever could do. And it's like, it ain't your fault. It's just like, it just didn't work out. By all metrics, it should have worked out.
And also, not just that, not even it just didn't work out. Though I'm not saying Kevon was good or great at all when he played. But again, this is the problem with like roster. When Golden State used Kevon Looney, they put Kevon Looney in games when, listen, we're struggling rebounding.
Yeah.
We need you in situational basketball, defend and rebound right now. That's what we need right now. Certain game, like that's the issue with like the Pelicans or whatever. Like with at least what they did previously in James Borrego and stuff. You're not like thinking the game from a situational standpoint. It's like, if I need a three, I'm not putting Kevon Looney in the game. If I need somebody to go out there and get rebounds, I need Kevon Looney, DeAndre Jordan on the floor.
It's like Mitchell Robinson. I need you to go box out Wemby and help us get this offensive board. Now,
help us get this offensive board.
Shout out to Lionel. Now, I'll say this. I don't think trading Herb for a rookie would signal anything, honestly. Trey, I can see an argument for it, but for Herb, I think if Nate Ament came into the league right now, he would arguably be as good as Herb. Because the way Herb is right now, and I'm not trying to shit on Herb, I'm just saying, like,
I think Herb needs to come off the bench. I think you can send Ament off the bench, and not to start the season, but I think by the end of the season, you could be like, oh, that's a useful player.
Yeah, I think Herb needs to come off the team, and I think like. We'll see, man. So we heading into the weekend. They've been like, the other teams fucking around with this John this shit. Let's go ahead and make it happen. Cedric Howard is a fucking dog. People talk about rookies don't contribute to winning. That team was bad because Ja and wasn't playing. Cedric Howard is a fucking monster.
Cedric Howard from day one stepped in right away, defending, shooting the ball, finishing. Just solid, not doing nothing special.
Cedric Howard used to give us the fucking blues. I'm talking about rebounding, just dominating everywhere on the court. I think also, to me, one of the reasons why I wouldn't want Herb back for any circumstance is really like the physical standpoint. I think he's too small. I think he's too small now for what the league is.
I think he's too small. He's too small for what, like how we play him and where we play him.
Yeah,
You know
like
what I mean?
to me, Herb's at the point now he should be guarding twos, but like ones and twos. But it's like, are you too slow to guard ones and twos now? Like I don't know. I don't know.
That's
man.
why I'm bringing him off the bench, bro. If we go into the season with him, I'm bringing him off the bench, and I'm just trying to terrorize. Like I would stack our second unit though, and just dominate. Because if
who you starting if you bring him off the bench? You starting Sadiq?
Fuck, I'm
starting
trying
Bryce?
to. No, I'm trying to improve that all together. You told me we was
But the thing is, he off the bench. It's like, who coming to the team?
No, Dejounte, I think he starts to start the season. If it's me, I'd bring him off the bench. But let's Dejounte, Z, Trey. Right now, we gotta say Eves. I think they start Herb to start the season to see what the shoe look like. I ain't gonna lie, you might not like this. I'd be willing to start if I could get the two bigs. I'd be willing to start Queen.
Wait, so if you starting Queen, who coming out the starting lineup?
Herb. I'm saying what I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna start Dejounte, Z, Trey, Herb, Big, Misi, or whoever the center is. What I would do, if I'm just saying, if the roster was completely the same right now, if the roster was completely the same, no movement, right? No movement. I'd probably start Herb. This is assuming if the offense was bad, assuming his offense was still bad, I'd probably take my chances with the two bigs and see. I take my chances with the two bigs and see if we could bully ball people.
Now, one thing I'm gonna say, because I hope I'm Nate a minutes to throw off and they really trying to go get Mara, but I think
Mara is the target.
I think so. I think this too. If that's the starting lineup next year, if either of those are starting lineup next year, the con is, we don't know how the offense is going to be, but that's enough talent though. You should have at least a solid offense. And the pro is, boy, you're gonna be able to sit wherever you want in that Smoothie King Center. You can sit on the floor. That bitch gonna be bald head. Look, shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way out, man. Tell the people where they can find you at, brother. We gonna do it.
Man, obviously y'all catch me at Pels in the Blender on YouTube, dog. Or just say Davis on X, man. Appreciate y'all.
Man, y'all know who it is. This is Big Cheddar, you understand me? Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter, CHEDDACHAZ. Man, I'm trying to get some of these people up out of here. We're juvenile. I'm trying to get the foolishness over. Trying to get some of these dudes up out of here. I'm campaigning. I ain't pulling no punches. You know what I'm saying? I believe in this front office, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help. I'm just trying to be a help me. You feel me? So let's make this happen. Giannis, stop playing these motherfucking games and go on about your business, please, so we can move on. Let's go get a day tomorrow and let's get the ball rolling this all season. But with that being said, we out. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. Make sure y'all go sub to Pels in the Blender. Also, check out Chris Lambert and appreciate y'all for joining us. We out. Peace.